out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You're tuning to the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man, Kill. I got my squad with me. In effect, as always, I got my brother, JR from BK. What's going on, fam?
What's going on? It's good to be back, man.
I see you repping the Knicks. I see you, Playboy.
Always, bad or good.
You saw that y'all ain't get Giannis?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
I kind of feel that he wasn't, and I think he wants to be a Knick, but I think we need to just wait on them until, the season.
All season.
We did that shit with Melo, and you see what happened there. We gave up our whole squad for this dude. He ain't had nobody to play with.
Right.
Hey, he gave y'all some great moments at the Garden, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
I will say that. I feel you want a chip, no more great moments.
Yeah.
Veg, what's good, bro? Everything good with you?
Chilling, man. Y'all need that work? Let me know.
I said, Vague look like. I said, we dropping the album tonight. Vague look like he is in 100% rapper mode right now. This nigga look like we got an album dropping I ain't even know about. Tone from Into the Dome. What's good, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Look, Vague is like a solid stand-up comedian, bro. For real.
Yeah, man. And my brother Nell trying out the NO. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, family? Happy to be here as always.
No doubt. Well, y'all know me. Let's jump right into it. So this week's show came from last week while we snowed in. Me and Nay and T was just like listening to some gospels, listening to some songs and some videos and everything. And one thing I peeped, I was like, yo, these boys who be in the gospel bands don't be dressing up no more. Like, these niggas be looking like me, like fitteds on and hoodies and all that. And I'm like, I'm sure the old heads hate that. Like, yo, nigga, dress up. Like, yo, you gonna come to church and praise the Lord, put some slacks and put a suit on. You know what I mean? And it started having me think about, what has crept into the church that, the elders don't like. Like, yo, you know what I mean? Don't wear no short skirt. Like, I be going to court with my kids. Yo, I swear to God, some of these moms be coming in looking like, I don't know if they going to the club, the church, to court. Because there's all the same outfit. It's all the same. You know what I mean? So it had me starting to think okay, what crept in the church that the elders don't like? So what crept in the hip hop? What crept in the R&B that us elders are like, nah, you can't do that. You know what I mean? And it's not just church, it's across the board. I mean, when they graduated, I had on a low button up, some jeans and a pair of Jordan 1s. 30 years ago, niggas would have been like, oh, this nigga just got out of jail. Like, fuck is you dressing up like that for somebody's graduation? Like, you had to wear a suit and tie if somebody graduated. Now you can wear whatever you want. You could go to graduation with shorts on. Like, it don't matter no more. So just looking at the things that may have crept into our culture and crept into things, and we just like, nah, I ain't feeling that. So that's what this week's show is going to be about. As always, got the R&B guru here. So if you got some R&B on tap, we definitely gonna jump into that. The first joint I got, I mean, it's simple, man. In the quote, so many rappers, like Rakim said, this is what we call it. This is what we all sit down and write. You can't make it, so you take it home, break it and bite. You know what I mean? Ace said it. There's a sign at the door, no biting allowed. Like, it's just biting, man. You know what I mean? And one of the things I loved about the 80s, pre-Straight Outta Compton, because I always say this pre and post Straight Outta Compton, you wanted to be original. You didn't want to. You know what I mean? If Kid and Play was out and me and Vegas both had a high top fade and one was light skinned up, we'd be like, yo, we got to do something different. We going to be just like Kid and Play and that's going to be whack. You know what I mean? Like, you wanted to find your own lanes. Now, I'm not saying that never happened because Finesse and Quist was very salt and pepperish. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying there was never no biting or anything like that. But for the most part, you saw De La Soul. What was so dope about De La was like, yo, we had never seen nobody like that. You know what I mean? Like that was, you know, when you think about Ultramagnetic, it was dope. Never seen nobody like that. We heard Rakim. It was like these oh shit moments because it was like, oh, nobody's doing that style before. So just everybody biting right now. I mean, I remember when Jill Scott's CD first came out in Vague, they sent me a sampler up at 889, and I heard it, and I was like, yo, this is dope. Dilla getting this R&B money now. Like, that's dope. And then I get it, and it's a touch of jazz. I'm like, yo, these niggas bit Dilla whole style. Like, and I really to this day want to know, because I'm like, how is Jeff from Philly, Quest is from Philly, and you're biting basically the whole Soulquarian sound for this album? And I read that Quest was like, Jill wanted to work with them, but they was busy, so then they went and got a touch of jazz. And it's kind of like, but you kind of bit our whole sound to do Jill, and it's like, that's just cool. Or the same thing when Timbaland first came out with the drums. I mean, them drums was everywhere. They was in R&B and gospel. Every genre of music was doing that Timbaland stutter drum thing. And it was just like, damn, like now nobody cares about being original. You know, Rock Marcy came out with the drumless hip hop. Now everybody doing the drumless hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's just, for me, it's just biting crept into our culture. And I don't know how we allowed that in the door, because there was a time when it would have been like, nah, we ain't fucking with you, bro. You bit such and such whole style. Like, we ain't fucking with you no more. And now it's just like, we don't care anymore. And I don't know if it's the rules or what. So what do y'all think about biting? Tone, what you think about the biting aspect of how did that creep? How did we allow that to become okay?
Man, first let me go back real quick to I remember when I first heard Dana Dane, I started calling him the fake Slick Rick, because I heard Dana Dane was saying about the Great Adventures, and I know that was the Get Fresh crew and all that, but I didn't hear it in order like that, being in North Carolina. And I was like, damn, this dude sound like Slick Rick. He bites Slick Rick. But, Dana Dane was famous is a concept and a storytelling album like Great Adventures, man. So I eventually learned to respect him, and I'm a big fan. Now, I just want to get that out of the way, because that was my first thing of when I thought about biting as a youngster, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, yo, man, he kind of sounds too much like Slick Rick, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's my introduction, man. But I just think over time, man, like, I don't want to say some artists ran out of ideas, but everyone is influenced by someone. But you should take that influence, like a little piece of that influence, and put that in your own repertoire instead of like outright biting somebody. And I think at some point, people start not being ashamed anymore and just say, look, I'm going to jump on this wave, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to do what I do. And I think over the last 20 years, whatever was hot, everybody jumped on that type of style, and it just flooded the radio and clubs, and everything started sounding the same. And I don't think people care no more. So I just think that, I don't know if I'm answering correctly, but over the last 10, 15 years, 20 years, it just became so normal, man. But it was like breaking the law for us in our era in the early 90s and stuff like that. With our age kid, it was a no, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was big.
Right.
Even somebody like Father MC, we thought it was dope, but at some point, we kind of like, man, you trying to be like Kane, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was just different, man. But it became acceptable, man. And I don't know where we go from here, man. But I think it's really started in the early 2000s. It got worse.
Right. Vay, what you think, bro?
I agree with Tone. I think it started in the early 2000s, and I blame Jay-Z, right? All that, I'm bigging up my brother, I'm big enough to do it. Nah, no. Initially, sure.
Right.
But then when you started doing Eminem and Pac and Cam and Snoop, and we would have considered that biting. Like, why do you even need to use any of their lines? Like, you don't need to do that. But I think there was a generation that just kind of believed that. And when you fast forward, you look at like some of the acts that are out now that will say, oh, they all kind of sound the same. That's because they don't have that in their DNA to not sound like the next person. To them, they're them, so that makes them different, right? Like, I'm 21 Savage, that's Future. So what? He's him and I'm me. And even though they sound differently, those two, it just doesn't matter. Or probably a better example is like Designer and Future, where he clearly can rap. Because I heard him rap way before he was doing this now, and I was like, yo, he could actually rap. But the wave was sound like Future, you know what I'm saying? And you see it even like with people after Pop Smoke. It's like Pop Smoke was doing drill, but something about his voice and style was unique, so he was blowing up. But then, you know, once he was gone, you just get everybody in that lane, and it's okay. And I'm the only old dude like, yo, you biting off with, yo, Pop Smoke already did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they're like, so, you know, like, so it's just one of those things where it just feels like over time, like trying to be a unique MC. And I think that ties into one of mine's. Just wasn't a goal of people who, whether you were a rapper or MC, it just wasn't a goal to be unique. It was just be hot, you know. So
right. What you think now, Tron?
It's the timing. It's our age. We were raised to. We had so many MCs out from the 80s to the 90s that we could differentiate, and that's what we love. But like Veg and Tone said, as time went on, I'm hearing what's to do with the one eye. I think it's from Jersey.
One eye boy.
Fetty Wap. Yeah. It was like 2014. I'm listening to the radio and everybody sounding the same. Even the female rappers who was out at that time sounding the same. So yeah, right now I don't think the kids really care. Like I have two boys and they're 14 and 11, and they don't really listen to the radio. Well, they don't even have the radio out right now. So I don't. That's another thing too, you know, no radio being so you can hear different people. So yeah, I agree with y'all.
Right.
Man. Yeah.
Right. What you think, JR?
I agree with y'all. I was gonna say with Veg, I was gonna say when Jay did that. So this generation now was like, okay, we ain't gotta be creative. We can sound like this and it's cool. And it's not considered biting because I'm being me, but this is what I've heard. You know what I'm saying? So it's no creativity of it all. You know what I mean? But once it crept in, it creeped in. Ooh, boy.
Right. Yeah. You got it, Veg.
One last thing. And I'm not trying to like, you know, dig at Jay-Z. I'm obviously a big fan. I got a bunch of albums and stuff like that. But one of the things that's a byproduct of people not caring, and especially Jay-Z doing what he did, when in any movie you've seen it, bring them out when they play the T.I. joint, it always bothered me that they sampled Jay saying a big line. And it's like, well, why aren't you sampling Big? Like those are Big's bars. But you're sampling Jay saying Big's bars, and people were like, so it's hot. And I'm just like, okay, all right, fuck y'all, it's dead. So. Right.
Now I feel you. I mean, I think so much of it, and I think when it comes to biting, I mean, we go back to how I always say pre and post Straight Outta Compton, because before Straight Outta Compton, labels didn't know what to do with hip hop. So if we signed Neltron and JR, we don't know what to tell you, just rap, just do what y'all do. After Straight Outta Compton, it was like, oh, so there's cursing and all of this stuff. All these things play a part in that. So then I remember Straight Outta Compton came out, and niggas in Philly, we ain't know what Compton was. We like, I never even heard of Compton before. 6 months later, you got Compton's Most Wanted, like CPO, like everybody was from Compton. Everybody was wearing a black starter jacket. Everybody, you know, had the Black Raiders hat. Like, it just started all those things. And again, like, we started to see like, oh, Diggable Planets blew up. Oh, here come the Fugees, 2 guys and a girl. Like, it literally was like labels saying, okay, that won, so we want y'all to do that. Or, you know, here's Das Effects. Okay, let's get these 3 niggas over here, Foosh niggas, and put them in a Chinese takeout box and had them do that video. And yeah, we started to see how labels would be like, oh, the Grave Diggers, oh, here go the Flatliners, oh, Onyx, oh, here go the Hood Rats. Like, you know what I mean? But I think it got even worse, like you said, Vague, once we got to the 2000s, especially 2010 plus, because now dudes is independent and could do whatever they want, and they still doing the same shit that the labels was telling them to do. And in the 90s, they'd be like, yo, I ain't want to do that. The label made me do it. Well, who's making you not use no drums now? It ain't the label.
Right.
You doing the exact same thing you used to bitch about. Oh, the label made me do that. because the label wanted to sell records. Now you want to sell records because it's your label and you pushing yourself and you doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy. And one of my favorite lines or quotes from James Mtume, God bless the dead, he talked about the 3 levels of creativity. You have imitation, emulation, and then innovation. So, and the reason I love that is because when I first started making beats, every beat sounded like Premier. That was the imitation. You come into something and it's like, yo, Primo's my guy. Every beat, every 8 bars, some strange noise. Programming drums like Premier. But then eventually you start to get to an emulation stage where you start finding yourself. You know what I mean? And then eventually you get to the innovation style, because if you hear my beats now, they sound nothing like Premier. But that's from going through those stages. And what happens, a lot of the artists that are coming up now just stay in the imitation stage. You know what I mean? Because it's just easier to stay right here and I can just keep doing what Premier does. Or it's easier for me to stay right here and just loop up a sample and don't add no drums like Rock Marcy do. Like there's no, the whole 10,000 hour concept of if you put 10,000 hours in doing anything, you'll become like a master in it. These young boys don't want to be a master in it. You know what I mean? When I first started making beats, I wanted other producers to be like, yo, Kill, you got some shit, or my OG Roots, or my man Bezo and Shy was like, yo, I wanted to impress them. So it was like, let me put in this time. Nowadays, I don't feel like nobody wants to be impressed by anything no more. So there's that. Neltron, what you got up first for yours? Tone, you back, bro? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, Playboy.
All right, no doubt. Neltron, what you got up for your first joint, bro?
Stuff that Crept or stuff that I miss, like
No. Stuff that crept into the culture, hip hop, R&B, that you just like, yo, how do we get here?
Oh, okay. So one of my hip hop ones is too much music within 6 months, instead of like you know, like say for instance, Tribe will do 2 years. They'll wait 2 years to do, you know, you'll do low end, and you wait 2 years to do midnight. Now, and I hate to say it, but Griselda and a whole bunch of independent artists just kept flooding the streets with the music. And I'm like, I need to sit with this album for at least a month or a year, you know, but that's one thing I don't care for right now that crept into hip hop, is just flooding the streets with your music instead of letting it breathe. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, I agree with you 100%. I mean, when you said Griselda, one time Conway said something like, you know, I make $500,000 off of merch every time an album drop. Mm-hmm. So if you can sell merch based off of that album, if my new album is what, the Polo Tigers, and I know I can sell these hoodies, you know, with the album, and I can make $500,000 off of just selling merch, then yeah, I'm gonna drop an album 4 times a year, because the goal isn't now about making great music. The goal is about making money. And if I can make $500,000 every time I drop an album, and I drop 4 albums in the year, that's $2 million I just did. You know what I mean? So I think like that's the other concept of it too, is it's like, you know, and then the other thing is the young boys find that impressive. You know, one of my young boys said to me like, yo, you know, the boy Flea Lord did 12 albums a year, you know what I mean, once a month. And I'm like, yo, why? How is that impressive? Like, and my first question was, but are they dope? Like, you know, because like you said with Tribe, and we talk about this all the time, you get to live. Like Low End didn't sound like Midnight because in those 2 years they toured the world, Tip did more digging. You saw some things, you grew as a person. What growth are you doing from January to February to drop 2 albums? Like what changed? Nothing in your life changed. Maybe you banging a new shorty, maybe, you know, but nothing huge changed. You didn't get out the hood and see some things to write differently. Oh, I read 5 more books this, you know, in the 6 months, so I don't learn some new word. You're not doing anything. But for now, like, that's impressive. Like, quantity over quality, I feel, is how this new generation embraces things. Whereas for us, we wanted the quality over quantity. You know what I mean? So,
you know,
JR, what you think about? Oh, you got it, Tone.
I ain't even interrupt.
You got it. No, you got it, Tone.
It made me think about Ransom for a minute, because even though I love him, I think he's a super ill lyricist. Like, got so many bars, quotables, but he drops so much music. It's the gift and the curse, because if you're a fan, he give you a lot of music. But to your point, Kill, when you let some time lapse, you see like this person living some. so they bring a different experience on the mic. So if you heard one Ransom song, I don't want to say you heard all of them, but to a degree, it's like every project you hear in the dope bars. He got some deep joints where he's being more introspective now on all the projects. But it's like it's so many of them though, you almost can't appreciate them because as soon as you get locked into one, another one comes out. And to your other point, try from People Instinctive to Low End Theory to the Midnight Marauders, even to Beats, Rhymes, and Life. You heard a progression of Q-Tip experience with production in all of the rhyme styles. Outkast, Southern Player, the ATLs, Equipment, Stank On It. You saw a growth each time because, hey, I'm not in just Decatur no more like Southern Player listing. Now I'm in Moscow by the time Stank On It come out, touring the world, right? So I think that flooding it, like Neiltron was saying, you flooding so much, man, I can barely digest it. So to a degree, releasing too much music has hurt hip-hop. And I know that sounds crazy because we crave for it back in the day. Every Tuesday, we're like, yo, gotta get to the record store, man, gotta get to the record store. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, damn, dog, so-and-so just dropped last month. He dropping again. Right. It's like, so it's the gift and the curse, man. To me.
Yeah, and the wild part is I remember growing up I remember there being a time when I was like, man, I wish hip hop was on the radio 24 hours a day. And then you get that shit and you like, this ain't what I wanted. Like this wasn't the music I wanted on 24 hours a day because you got tired of having to stay up till midnight on a Thursday night. Got to go to school the next morning, but I gotta be up at midnight to 2 to tape these joints off the radio, you know what I mean? So I'd be like, yo, I wish it was on all the time. And then you get it all the time. Or like you said, but you also want something. I always feel like you want to miss the person. You want to look up and be like, damn, I ain't heard a new Tribe album in a minute. Damn, when they coming out with something versus it being like, another. Because Tone, your point with Cast, there's no way in the world we get ATLians and Equimini if they drop all three of them in the same year. If they record, you don't get that growth. Because guess what? ATLians would have sounded just like Southern Playalistic. You know what I mean? It would have just been, let's just keep the recording process going. And it's like, we did 24 songs. Okay, those 12 go on this, and it's going to all sound the same. But you saw Dre go from Players Ball to other side of the game with Ibadu. You saw the growth. You saw the change. Like, I don't know if he has that same rhyme about the mall. You know what I mean? And if you don't move your feet, then we don't eat, so we like neck to neck. If he recorded that the same year he did Southern Playalistics. We don't get that bar 9 times out of 10 because nobody knows him. You even be like, ain't you that person who, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. And like you said with Rand, it's like, and then after a while, bro, Vegas, I was listening to one of my Griselda mixtapes and I was like, yo, I don't know the name of any Griselda songs. None. Like there's like a couple and I'm like, that's Sensational Sherry. But then the mix started going on. I'm like, damn, what is the name of this song? Get the fuck out of here. Pete's Right. I didn't know that. That was the name of the song. But you don't have that problem with Tribe or with Daylight. You're not like, what's that Tribe song or that Daylight joint where they be as high, stakes is high. Like, you know the name of these songs. You know what I mean? Like, you're not like, shit, what was that Fife solo song? It was like Butter. Nigga, you know that shit. A lot of this new music, like you said with Ransom, love his shit, but can I tell you the name of 5 Ransom songs? Probably not. You know what I mean? Or even 5 of my favorite. Maybe I could be like, I remember this song. I remember that was the name of a song. But if you ask me my 5 favorite Conway songs, Benny songs, I mean, so it goes to that point. It goes to that point too. But you got the R&B, Neiltron, or was just hip hop?
Yeah, I got some R&B. One thing I don't. You know what?
Let me go around. Let me go around and get everybody, and then we'll come back to it. My bad, Vague. What you got? And I'm gonna come to JR. What you got, Vague?
I also had the whole quantity equaling quality today, but I think y'all kind of talked about that. One thing I don't like, and it was almost like a new topic, but I don't think it was a new situation. I just think it became a topic of discussion because of events in hip hop, like the battle with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. But people trying to say hip hop ain't hip hop if it's not for the streets. Where the fuck did that come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not for the streets, then it's not hip hop. And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because it was the same thing I hated, like, because a lot used to say this all the time, like, we make songs for jail niggas and shit. Niggas that got caught in a box. You don't. You just trying to maintain credibility on some street level. But when did hip hop become that? Like, that's all it has to be. And I kind of felt like, because I think like 21 Savage was one of those, and Young Thug was one of those. Well, first of all, everybody know I hate 21 Savage. Like, nigga, you can't rap, sound like you can't read, my nigga. Like, that's what you sound like. So you saying it means absolutely nothing. But what I got from what he was saying, because I'm gonna listen to him, because you know he got fans, is you can't make that kind of money anymore, because this battle told your fans that lyrics matter. You know what I'm saying? Because they started to follow like what we already knew. They started to discover,
Right.
like, oh, word, Kendrick was saying this and that and that and that. That's just kind of crazy. So now when they hear 21 Savage and Drake again, they like, nah, these niggas too simple. And that's where they feel like, nah, it's not for the streets no more. No,
Right.
it just got back to hip hop. And that's what's uncomfortable for you, because you can't do it. That was never your lane. You was just trying to get money, which I get it. But I hated that. You know, it didn't last that long. But I love the fact that that battle was the catalyst for that, because that and Hip Hop 50 and what Nas is doing and everything, LL dropping with, like, it just said old, young, new, it don't matter. People care about lyrics again. But I just kind of wanted that, you know, everybody who want to feel tough and feel like the streets is it, and yo, that shit ain't real because it's not for the streets. Man, get the fuck out of here. Like, please. Rakim wasn't even on that shit, so come on.
Right. Nah,
Even though the
I
streets
feel
was
it.
around that nigga, like the actual streets was in his group.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of killers on the back of that Paid in Full cover right there. So what you got up for your first joint?
Man, I'm gonna go, and we might have talked about this before, man. But one thing that slipped in is how at some point autotune just really blew up too much.
That's one of mine.
Because, you know, yeah, because, you know, when T-Pain was doing, he had his own vibe, his own style. He was singing, rhyming a little bit. He was a kind of unique artist. I give him that. If it would have stopped there, I'd have been cool with. But at some point, a lot of different rappers started doing it. You know, Kanye on the 808 and Heart, you know, whatever. And I know it was a landmark album, but I didn't like all that auto-tune on 808. At some point, Wayne, who I do like, people know I like Lil Wayne. Some people think I'm a Lil Wayne hater for some crazy reason. I've been bigging up Lil Wayne for 10 years on Twitter. But anyway, at some point, he started using auto-tune too much, and I was like, man, come on, Weezy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can get it in when you really want to get it in. And it's like the auto-tune is like being lazy to me. Future doing this auto-tune. Yeah, I know how large Future is down here and in hip-hop, of course. You're a legend now, but I was tired. You heard one Future song, you heard all of them with the auto-tune shit. So as it spread, and then even Jay-Z tried to kill it with Death Auto-Tune, you know what I'm saying? And I think he did hurt it some, because he's obviously a powerful figure, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it spread at some point so much that every other song you start hearing in the clubs and the radios and Pop Champagne and this, all this shit, it was just too much auto-tune, man. And it was irritating me, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's one for me, man. It was too much.
Right. Now, JR, I know I saw you agreeing with that. You said that was one of your joints?
Yeah, it was one of mine with auto-tune, because like Tone said, it's just lazy to me. You know what I mean? Which it hurt R&B, to be honest with you, because it was already on the downhill spiral as it was. So now you don't gotta sing no more. So you can sound like shit and just add some auto-tune to it and you good. So,
and then JR, you know what, JR? It also made some people who really wasn't real singers jump into the R&B lane and water the whole genre of R&B down too.
Yes.
You're not a singer, bro. So shut up and stop singing.
And that's what, and added to one of mine, because then now you have rappers singing on the hooks. For what?
Yeah.
That's why you have singers who sing on the hooks. So now you're using for auto-tune now, and these rappers are using that, so now they can sing the hook. It's like, come on, like, what are we doing here?
Now, hold on, let me ask a question. I was always under the assumption that people used auto-tune because they couldn't sing. But then I found out T-Pain really could sing.
He could.
So If T-Pain, so was T-Pain the OG of autotune? And if so, why did he use it if he could sing? Because again, I thought it was for like Kanye. He didn't really have no voice, but I saw he always wanted to sing. So I felt like, oh, okay, you can sing, you using autotune to sound good. But is that right? Or was it like, why did T-Pain start using it if he could sing? Does anybody know, JR?
I think he just wanted, he said when I watched his interview, he said he wanted to just create like a new sound. He wanted something fresh and something different. You know what I mean? And he was just like, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to try it. And it worked. You know what I mean? And then it worked and it just went down the line. And he said, which bugged me out, and Usher bugged me out when he told him this. He was like, yo, you're the reason that R&B hurt. And it's like, but wait a minute, Usher, you used it too. And it got you a big single with Oh My God. So what are you talking about? Like, how you gonna come at that man like that? You use it. You know what I'm saying? So,
but here's the wild part. And again, there's no better than me, no better analogy than this. It's people when they try to say Steph Curry ruined basketball. No, Steph Curry came in playing his game.
Yep.
You don't blame that man for playing his game or doing what he does. And then everybody, like, that's what's fucked up. I feel like we live in a bizarre world where everything is backwards. Like, why are you blaming the person who started the trend and not blaming the people who are all following the trend? Like, and I feel like that's where we're ass backwards. Like, how you gonna say T-Pain ruined the game? Nigga, nobody was doing this before me. What ruined the game was the rest of you nut ass niggas biting what I was doing. So why are you mad at me and not pointing at all these other hundreds of niggas who's doing it? Like, that's another thing that crept in, and I don't know how that crept in. Like, how do we blame the wrong person all the time? You know what I mean? Like, when people say that kills me. Oh, Steph ruined the league. He ruined the league.
Right.
Not how the fuck he ruined the league, nigga? He make all the threes. The rest of you nut ass niggas who can't shoot these shots ruin the league. Like, what are you talking about? But then people just.
I say that shit all the time, bro. I'm like, look, Steph hit like half his threes. Y'all coaches should stop letting these dudes who shoot 24% from threes shoot all these threes.
That's what ruined the game. That is what ruined the game. Not Steph. Steph ain't do a goddamn thing wrong. You know what I mean? This dude, the greatest shooter ever. You talk about you ruined the game. Nigga, I'm the GOAT. How I ruined the game? Like, that's like saying, oh, Rakim, you ruined the game because you made everybody step their game up and niggas couldn't. Nigga, come on, don't do that. So, okay, because I always thought the auto-tune. And JR, another thing that you just said that was huge was rappers singing on the hook. Because there was a time that was not allowed. I'll never forget, I've told this story before, All City, the actual, came through the studio, 889. And the dark-skinned boy was like, yo, man, I'm singing on the album. Yo, Veg, we was in there like... like, nigga, you doing what on the album? He's like, yeah, I sing on the album a little bit. You know what I mean? I was like, we was like, oh okay. Like, I don't know how that's gonna work out for you. And that was 97. And you see, all you ever heard from All City was the actual and priceless. You know what I mean? That 12-inch, and that was it. But then you fast forward so many years, J. Cole sings on every chorus, Black Thought is singing on the chorus. So it's not just Drake. Like, there's this misconception, like, oh, Drake is the only. No, Black on How I Got Over by the Roots. Black Thought is singing on the chorus. One of the joints he got with Salam Remy that I love. I forgot the name of it, but off that Salam Remy EP.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about that.
Yeah, and the joint is crazy and Thought sounds good, but again, that just wasn't acceptable in 1997. Like,
you know what? Still, too, early 90s, it was more or less if somebody was doing it for fun, like a Biz Markie, like say it's just a fan or something like that. Biz could get away with something like that because, he was kind of clowning some too, and he had his own flavor in his own lane, but you didn't see much. You didn't see many people doing what Biz was doing. Slick Rick might have said one little line, a little sing every now and then, something like that. But they were real unique, man. But for the most part, you got an R&B person to sing the hook.
Right, and even that took some time. Like, even that took a minute. Like, you know what I mean? And sometimes when I heard what's the joint, Discipline? I mean, I loved it, but I was like, Total on the hook, like what? Like, what we doing? Like, I'm not used to that from Gangstar. Like, I'm used to just the scratch choruses or whatever. So even though it was KC and JoJo on Royalty, it was like, they sending me shit in the mail, and I'm like, Gangstar featuring KC and JoJo. Like, Just imagine hearing that after coming off of Hard to Earn, and you hearing Mass Appeal and Suckers Need Bodyguards, and you getting a 12-inch, and it's like Gangstar featuring KC and JoJo, or Gangstar featuring Total. It's like, whoa, so even though I think they did it the right way, it still was like, oh shit, like damn, this where we at now? Like niggas is getting R&B people sing the hook, but like you said, JR, with autotune, then it was like, oh, let me cut the R&B person out of it, and I'll just do the hook myself. And you can see it through J. Cole's career. Like maybe first album it was 1 or 2. By the 4th album, Cole singing every chorus himself. He going. But and it's like, I get it. Why not? Because niggas like it. You know what I mean? And then you got Fonte, who does a great job of it. Pharaoh, who does a great job of it. So it's not even like it's a bad thing, but it's just like something that just wasn't accepted at a certain... Trust me, Pharaoh Monch was not singing the chorus for Simon Says. You know, now he can sing the chorus for Styles P's My Life a couple of years later. But imagine hearing Simon Says and this nigga singing, you know, throw your hands up, you know, rub on your titties. Like, you know, you can't sing that. You know what I mean? So, another joint I got up, on the R&B side, I got cursing and drug use in R&B, man.
Oh, man.
That was mine. That was one of mine.
I mean, dog, it's like, yo, like niggas is getting, these R&B boys getting more twisted than the hip-hop dudes is getting twisted.
Did you see Keith Sweat on the Breakfast Club talking about that?
Yes.
What was he talking about?
That was one that I caught. That was really good.
He went in on that, man, because they was asking, like, what's going on with music right now? What's your thoughts on R&B and everything? He's just like, man, I'm not feeling the cursing and stuff. He's like, man, we used to sing to make love. He said, now this it's too much. It's like too aggressive R&B and vulgarity and stuff. He's like, we was all on some love making, real sensual joints and stuff like that. And he really broke it down in a way I can't talk about it right now, like he did, but he really sounded like a godfather, this shit, you know what I mean? Like, he was really breaking it down, like, what's wrong with R&B? And he was just like, the vulgarity and the cursing and all that stuff is really taken away from what R&B was meant to be. And it was about making up, making love, and stopping arguments and all. He said, y'all cursing, that's making the situation more aggressive. That's not what we're singing these love songs for. So he went in about that, man. And I know you probably can expand on that more, JR, but man, it was really dope hearing Keith Sweat talk about that, because he's really telling you what's wrong with R&B. Or you heard what he said, you like, well, damn, I listened to Keith Sweat saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's right.
And Kill, you know how you always say, and then with the cursing in R&B is so crazy to me right now, and it turns me off for real. But you know how you always say, when you think of what is a love song that they can walk down the aisle to now?
Right.
You can't. Like, we think about it, be like, yo, you gotta sit and think. And you always go to the Her and Daniel Caesar record.
That's it. Like, that's it. But keep in mind, JR, I've been talking this shit for at least 5-6 years in my teen centers, and they still saying the same song 5-6 years later. It's still that Daniel Caesar Her, and it's just like you said, so like, and I'm gonna get more into the love part of it, because you know that's a whole nother thing, but just all the cursing just threw me off. Like, and even just an example, this Marsha Ambrosius album, and I love it, but like there's a joint where she's like, yeah, I was swinging on a chandelier and broke my fucking wrist, and I'm like, did you have to say you broke your fucking wrist? No. Like, you know what I mean? And then it didn't even rhyme with what you were saying. It's like you just cursing to curse. You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost just like that didn't happen. And, you know, like even with The Weeknd, y'all know I don't really listen to lyrics, especially if it ain't hip hop, but I didn't know the joint I Can't Feel My Face was about doing coke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that. Or then some of the Weeknd's joints I do fuck with. What's the joint? Yeah. It got that sample that No ID used for Common. Ask About or something. He was like, you know, I'm that nigga talk about smoking weed, getting high, fucking bitches. It's like, damn, bro, like this R&B song. Like, this what we talking about? So again, it's just one of those things. And by me working with kids, I see what that does to kids. Because again, and I'll go more into the love part later on, but listening to R&B made me want to fall in love. You know what I mean?
Right.
This music,
that's what he was saying.
This music only makes me want to smash, because it's really just about, yo, we linking up, we getting this in, then I'm kicking you out the crib. It's like, yo, when R&B boys start talking about, yo, we gonna smash, I'm gonna kick you out the crib, like, damn, this where we at? We don't win.
Oh, I mean, because y'all.
No, you got it.
it's like for our age generation, where's the Luther Vandross Here and Now at? You know what I'm saying? Like the type of, the joke of them that make you cry. Like we don't even hear that. Where's the Freddie Jacksons at? Even the Jagged Edge in the 90s. George,
Right.
We gotta. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just keep it going. No, we gotta keep it going.
One thing I want to say about, I try to keep up with the new R&B. I mean, JR and a few of my people, they put me onto the D-Mile artists, and they got this one chick, Victoria Monet. I love her music. She can sing, but when she say it's your motherfucking moment and get your own shit, buy your own shit, and stop asking me for shit, I'm just like, it would have been perfect if you just took the motherfucker and the shit and it's just too much.
It dumbs it down. It dumbs it down.
Yeah. So that's why I was saying that was one of mine too, because it just I can't even play today's R&B for my kids, man. I have to play that shit.
Yeah.
And I have to say this because I'm gonna throw this in there. I know this is what this podcast is, but sorry to me, when hip hop creeped into R&B, this is what messed all of this up. To be honest, it messed up all of this because that's when it started getting more aggressive. That's when we started to lose a lot of the softness and the vulnerability of R&B for what it was. Because like y'all said, now y'all got dudes just saying, "Yeah, I want to smash," and they not even really singing it. They rapping this joint. You got Chris on it. You got Tory Lanez on it. All these other dudes are not even singing on it. They want to be hip. They want to be rappers. And it's like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think once that crept in, because it was fine, like in the 90s, and obviously R&B definitely helped push hip hop forward as well. But when it got bad in the 2000s, because like y'all said, the cursing started. Then all of this stuff started to come in. It was like a domino effect. And as much as I do love hip hop, but when it got into the R&B culture, it really hurt. Because like Keith Sweat said, there ain't nobody loving no more. And
he didn't say that.
Keith Sweat ain't the best singer at all, to be honest with you. But lyrically, he's not.
Like he begging.
No, he sound like a mosquito. But it's like, yo, like it's just, we don't have that anymore. And it's just like, damn, as much as I love hip hop, to be honest, but it kind of did a little damage when it came to R&B for real. So,
right. Veg, you were gonna say something, Veg?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I think the only time, because I'm the same way, man. I don't want to hear no cursing like that. Like it, right. If you're gonna curse, it has to be smart within the lyrics. And I think, rest in peace, D'Angelo. I
was just about to say, Dig.
Like it made absolute sense, right? It's a song. It's the blues in a lot of way also, right? With the storytelling. So it made sense because when I mean, like you said, Gil, like when I got that CD and I was looking at the track list and I'm like, shit, damn motherfucker, like what is this? And it didn't make sense to me. But then when he started singing, I was like, oh, this is dope. Like he telling a story, and you would say
he was unique though, man.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a use case scenario that these artists who want to curse in their lyrics could think about. Like, let's just not say it to say it. Let's make a statement. Let's build to that because of the emotion or whatever's being said in the song. So,
or it's one of those things like use it, like play the big joker when it's time to. Like you could use your curse word when it's time to, when it fits. You know what I mean? But and we could just morph right into the whole I call this section the Where's the Love with Roberta and Donnie, not John and Shaka, just, if y'all saw the Grammys. But yeah, like where is the love in R&B? You know what I mean? Like, even when you think about the Bad Boys, Jodeci, Come and Talk to Me, Stay, Forever My Lady. Like, I try to explain to these young boys, like, Forever My Lady, 1990, that's when like teen pregnancies was getting kind of crazy. And these boys is like, yo, you pregnant, but you know what? I'm gonna stay with you and raise the baby. Like, that was not more romantic you could have said to a shorty in 1990. Like, yo, I'm pregnant. And it's like, yo, all right, we gonna do this together. Like, nigga, that's
you.
Yeah, Cry for You. You know, My Heart Belongs to You. Love You for Life. Jagged Edge, Gotta Be, Walked Out of Heaven, Let's Get Married. I proposed to T to Jagged Edge. Like, then these are the bad boys. Yeah, like they sent me the promo to Let's Get Married before it even dropped. And when I got the engagement ring, I threw that on and then came out and proposed to her. But I'm like, I'm proposing to my wife to Jagged Edge. Like, so even the bad boys made songs about love. He Can't Love You, Promise. Like, these were songs that did that. The comedian Dion Cole always talks about the After 7 line. I give you I give you my love, my heart, my love is a fountain. And he's like, these new young boys are like, I give you some dick. That's all I got. Like, that's all. That's the only poetry I got for you. I don't got no fountain, no
imagination. That's what you don't have.
Right. But you know what happens, bro, is that, and I think it's one of those things where it's like, and I'm gonna talk about acceptance later, but we've accepted this. You know what I mean? Because the sad part is I have homegirls who are in their 40s, Naomi's in her 20s, and they have the same stories. Like, these dudes don't want to date you. They don't want to take you out. They don't know how to court you. So whether you're 20 to you're 50, and again, I'm not blaming all of R&B for it, but I know for me, like I said, R&B made me want to fall in love. When I saw the video for When Will I See You Smile Again by BBD, it was one of them joints. You like, damn, I want a girl, man. I want to feel like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you want it. Like, but if you come up with this music, all you're going to want to do is smash, because that's all you're seeing. That's all you're hearing all the time.
That's very true, too, Ill, but it's also that mainstream is pushing this too, because we do have
mainstream,
that is doing this type, but they not getting the love. You know what I'm saying? That's why, to be honest with you, it took me a minute to get onto Leon Thomas, the new cat. It took me a minute, him being from Brooklyn, and but I was like, oh God, here go this yin yang around the house singing bullshit that I'm not even here for.
What is yin yanging around the house bullshit, man? What is that?
I got that from Martin. You know, when Tashina was like, oh, she just yin yanging around the house. So that's that, and it's just like basic. But when I got onto him, he got love songs. So that's why I'm actually hyped that he actually won this Grammy.
The Grammy.
You know, incredible as Grammys is these days. But just to say that he got that. So it's like what mainstream is pushing at us.
But the other thing, JR,
it is.
But it goes back to what Neltron was saying earlier about the radio. Where would you even hear these joints? Because, you know, I used to always watch videos that I'll just BET'd out. And I remember when T was pregnant back in 2004, she's like, yo, you gonna watch these videos with all these half naked women while your daughter sitting around? And it was like, damn, okay. You know, but the moral of what I'm saying is that you could go to BET and watch 106 in Park and hear all the new stuff, see the new videos. You could get the new vibe and see, oh shit, you know, such and such got a new album coming out. You could turn on the radio. But how do you even know new music is coming out? If you're not on social media, you are totally oblivious to how are you going to find out somebody got a new album? I remember when D'Angelo dropped Black Messiah. My supervisor at the time loved D'Angelo. And I was like, what you think of the new D'Angelo album? And I asked a couple of months and she was like, he got a new album? I was like, this shit came out like 3 months ago. So you got somebody who's a fan of somebody who has no idea that the music even came out. So like you said, it's like, it's the only thing that mainstream is pushing, and I dig that, but the sad part is there's no place else for you to hear anybody who is even thinking or talking about love. So
but they also don't want even people on mainstream, like as far as radio and all this kind of stuff. They're not gonna pay for that because it ain't making no money. So even if we did have an outlet to have in the radio, we can. If powers that be put the money behind it, it can, but they're not. So it's like, no, we're gonna stick to social media and keep it moving from there. So
here's the thing, not to get too political on my joint, but it's like, yo, you bring in all the coke and gangster rap, you change people's perceptions of that, and now you wipe out anything about love. Now you got people who ain't in love. You think any of my kids want to get married? Not one. Now, nan nigga want to get married, you know, and I ain't just talking about the men. I'm talking about the girls too. My girls don't want to get married. For what? You know what I mean? So we're tearing apart our black communities. I'm not blaming music for everything, but I'm just saying that these are seeds that are planted to, watching the Cosby Show. Growing up, I thought I was Theo. So Theo and Justine, like, damn, I want a girl. Like, yo, what kids watching now to see like, oh, somebody got a girl, like, or somebody got a man or something like that. Like, if it is you watching something, there's some reality, nut ass shit. You know what I mean? And there's people acting wild and shaking tables and throwing drinks and pushing girls in the damn swimming pool and all of that. So you're not seeing anything that even revolves around love or anything that even looks like love. Neltron, what's another joint you got up, bro?
I don't like that they let these young MCs still call themselves young or Lil. Or how do we keep doing this from young MC to young Dro to young Jock to Lil? I don't understand how is that still happening. You know what I mean? So that's one of mine, man.
And that's a good question. And I think it just goes back to biting again. It's like, oh, little. Because I remember I couldn't tell the difference between Little Baby and The Baby. Not the music, because I hadn't even at that time heard the music. But people were like, oh, Little Baby got locked up. Oh, The Baby? No, Little Baby, not The Baby. And I'm like, right, what baby? But keep in mind, even when the dude Lil Nas X popped up, we was like, Nas X? Like, nah, nigga, there's a nigga named Nas already. Like, we don't do that. Like, or I'll never forget, I was at Howard, 94, and the DJ was DJing. He was like, yeah, my name Young Guru. I'm like, whoa, no, Guru, only Guru weird. Nah, just Gangstar, my nigga. Like, I don't know. And again, this is Young Guru before he became superstar engineer. And he just went to Howard and was DJ. I literally was like, Young Guru? Like, nah, bro, we can't. And it's funny because I'm shocked niggas let him live with that name. Yep. Like, if I try to pop up like Young Guru, niggas at Morgan would be like, nigga, Keith Elam is Guru, nigga. Get another name. Like, try something else. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like even those things. So I'm with you on that, man. Like, cause we didn't do that. And Young Guru was probably one of the rare times that niggas would have a name like that in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm gonna call myself? Young Jay-Z? Like Young Premier? Like, that's literally how crazy Young Guru sounded to me when I heard it in 93. You know what I mean? Because it's like, yo, nobody was doing what you Young Big Daddy Kane. We already thought Little Daddy Shane was a whack ass name. So Young Kane, like, so yo, why did somebody tell me the other day it ain't like these new MCs are as nice as Little Daddy Shane? And I was like, you have a blessed year on purpose, good brother. Don't ever come back. Yo, swear to God. You go on my timeline and see it. Niggas are still retweeting it. Nigga really said Little Daddy Shane. I said, wow, you have a blessed year, man. You just keep on keeping on.
We ain't got nothing to talk about
at all.
Oh my God.
Me and you don't speak the same. If you think Little Daddy Shane's verse on Show and Prove was like that, cool. You just stay right over there on that side. JR, what you got up next, bro?
We said the rapper singing on autotune cussing. To be honest, and it affected everybody when we let social media really come in. Once we let social media come in, it affected everything because it started getting the stan culture, which is bad. And you thinking that your artist is like, they do everything great, and you take up for them, and you know this shit is whack, and you know it's whack, but just because you a fan, you like, oh no, it sound good, and no, you lying. So it affected the music, because if these stans are loving this and know it don't sound right, but it's great, they're gonna continue to keep doing it. So this is the music that we're gonna get. So I was like, social media is just bad. It's been okay for independent artists, obviously, but other than that, it's just once that creeped in, I was like, here we go, affecting the music once again. So that's mine.
Yeah. I mean, I think the crazy thing is just like with anything in life, gift and curse. You know what I mean? Social media is great because shit, I met all of y'all outside Vegas. I met some of the closest people in my life right now are people I met through social media and things like that. So that's good. But then the curse is now everybody got a voice and everybody don't need a voice. You know what I mean? Vague, when we was on campus, everybody didn't need a voice to be up at 889. It was me, T, you, Sam, Ock. Like, there were people who had a voice. Now everybody has a voice. You know what I mean? Which would be crazy because there'll be a nigga who just live in Baldwin Hall who got more followers than you, and you host a goddamn radio show. You know what I mean? So just off that rip alone, it's like this nigga's more influential than you are hosting a radio show. And this nigga just fucking working engineer building, you know what I mean? And just got crazy ass takes on hip hop, you know, and can say whatever you want to say. And that's why I'm always telling people like, yo, you gotta be like, have some type of responsibility when you talk about hip hop, because you got young boys who literally are trying to learn from people on here. But you got some of these niggas saying some wild ass shit like, oh no, Rakim was never dope. Like, what? Like, fuck is you talking? Like, so there's a young boy listening to this, like, oh, word, Rakim was like, nah, nigga, don't listen to him. Like, go, no. Like, there's too many voices in the building. Like you said, JR, the stan culture. I remember when Twitter first started, people would be like, oh yeah, I was talking to Solange last night. No, nigga, you was not talking to Solange. Like, you saying that shit like you hit her up on the phone or whatever. Nigga, somebody retweeting you or somebody, you be like, oh, I can't wait for Solange's new album to come out. And she responds like, oh, it's dropping next year. That's not a conversation, my nigga. You really aren't talking to Solange, you know? Right. But, you know, in these people's minds, they are. So, and again, I can't explain. Maybe I would have been a Big Daddy Kane stan if in 1988 I was able to have an online conversation with Kane. Like, maybe if Kane was like, "Kill, you ill as shit," like, oh, fuck that. Yeah, I don't care about Barry White. That shit's still good. Like, so as much as I shit on these stans, if they're raised like this and they're just raised in a place, dog, how many, no disrespect to nobody's like moms or grandmothers, but yo, what if social media was around in the 70s when Marvin Gaye was out? Like, yo, you know how many people's moms would have been hitting up Marvin like, nigga, you in Philly? Like, yep, cool, come through. DM me the number. I'm about to come through. You know what I mean? Yo, Smokey, you in New York this weekend? Say less, my nigga. Woo, you know what I mean? So it's a whole nother world that we don't understand. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that this is all this generation knows. You know what I mean? So the stan culture, and again, we dealing with there's a lot of lonely people out here. You know what I mean? Because again, coming up in our day, Vague, I know you know in Brooklyn, nigga, you had the cool kids, the middle kids, and then the herb ass niggas over there. And they sat on that side of the lunchroom, and nigga, don't you try to walk your ass over here on the cool side of the table. Keep your ass over there. So for years, the nerds and all them dudes got shitted on, but now you can come on social media and it's Fantasy Island times 100. You can become whoever you want to be on social media. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about college. I went Vague. I forgot my man. I don't even want to blow up his spot. I went home with him to Brooklyn. He was all Brooklyn. Then we got to Brooklyn. This nigga ain't want to leave his house. Like, nigga, you Brooklyn all day. Let's go to Brooklyn, you know, but this nigga wasn't that nigga. You know what I mean? That was just the persona he got when he got to Morgan. You know, and it's even worse on social media because literally you can just wake up, log into Twitter and be like, you know what? I am the thuggest nigga in the world and I'm talking shit and ain't nobody ever gonna see who the real person is. So that's the other part with social media, because now all those people who had to sit at that table, now I ain't gotta sit at that table because you know why? I'm a Hovita. I'm a Hova fan, and I'm the president of the Hovita fan club. So you know all my Jay-Z peoples is with me, and they got my back. And now I have this community. So now people who never had a community have a community. You know what I'm saying? And then it makes it even worse that the community is based off a rapper that we all love. So again, it can literally be like, yo, this nigga JR talking shit about Jay. Let's get him, everybody. And now everybody is coming at your timeline. And it's like, it's a gang. It's a gang. It's why niggas used to join gangs back in the day. You know, I feel left out. I don't have a community. Now the new gangs is just the Barbs and the Navies and the Beehive and all that shit. They're just gangs that you don't want to fuck with because these niggas are crazy. Like, I forgot who was it. Was Megan beefing with somebody and they was like, Cardi B's, whoever she was beefing with, her stance was like, oh, we gonna go fuck up your mother's grave. And they had to put like security out at Meg Thee Stallion's mom's grave. And it's like, this is how fucking psycho people are getting, that two people are beefing that you would even think to go do something to somebody's mother's grave. Like, yo, Cardi shouldn't even be thinking about doing nothing to her grave, and she the one beefing with the girl. You just some random chick in New Orleans or fucking Brooklyn who like Cardi B, and you about to go fuck up somebody's mother's grave for them?
And they be doing
Psycho,
that.
bro.
Yeah.
Psycho as shit. Vague, what you got up next, bro?
I say it all the time. I ain't scared of these digital gang niggas. Fuck yeah, I say what I want. I dare you to.
Yo, you know the funny thing? You know the funny thing, Vague? And I had to stop doing this because niggas, this is how niggas have gotten even crazier. I used to be like, nigga, 2500, blop, 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 blop road, southeast. Come see me. I'm in the projects every day. If you pull up, just ask the niggas on the basketball court where I am. But then I had to realize, like, these niggas out here crazy now. I don't need y'all pulling up, fucking shooting, and I got my kids out here. So, I mean, like, 10 years ago, I would say that shit. Now I'm just like, you got it, bro. Just keep, because niggas are crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, you may pull up and, you know what I mean? So, it's just, these niggas are really, I forgot what, and I'm sure y'all seen it where, like, some nigga was talking shit. Like, some nigga drove 4 hours and found him and went to his house and whooped his ass. Like, right, you know what I mean? So, it's like, niggas is crazy. But I used to be like, yo, I'm out here in the projects right now, swing through, you know what I mean? So, my fault, Vague.
Nah, no problem, man. I mean, again, I'm not like that either, but if I seen you in different gyms at the same time as me,
right?
What the fuck are you doing here? I'm watching everything. So I'm like, yo, who's that? Why you joining this gym? Nigga, you live over here? Like, you know, even like when I first moved to this house, because I had a house in Bmore before, but that was my first house. But here, and you know, my kids were little. If I see a nigga walking on the block, I don't know. I'm at the door like a guard dog, like,
right, what you here for?
Why you with you? And he's like, well, would you like to buy sun panels? Like, oh, suburbs. No, thank you. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. One of the things I hate, and it kind of started a while back, but I didn't really know how deep it went, is when certain generation decided that saying certain words about yourself instead of the action behind those words was more important. And that's like brand, right? I remember the first time somebody who was, you know, obviously younger than me, when I came back to Strictly Hip Hop and I was doing it remote, and it was like, yo, first of all, I'm putting him on. Yo, he sounded like he was interviewing me, but he like, yo, man, this is going to be excellent, man, because I love your brand. And I'm like, what? What you say? Like, what the fuck you mean you love my brand? And I kind of got what he meant, right? Like, he liked the things I was doing, you know, and he can connect with that. So I'm like, oh, well, let me check his stuff out. But there was nothing happening. I'm like, so how's your brand like my brand? Or you just saying brand? Like, I don't understand why you're using that word. And then the reverse that I don't like is how woke became a negative thing. For us, we read the autobiography of Malcolm X and get enlightened and we share it. But now we woke and that's negative? I have knowledge? I didn't like that shit, because the thing is yeah, it's funny because you get some people who think they know shit, and that's where the whole woke thing comes from. But it started to be branded on anything. Like if you was putting somebody on to anything, like if I start telling people about AI, they think it's just, but it's in your phones now, man. Right. You're helping to teach AI how to, I'm not gonna say replace you because it depends on the job, but you're teaching AI as you use it. So when you Google something, when you chat GPT, and you're like, nah, I don't mean that, I mean this. This is stuff that's really happening, right? In real time. Right. But when you try to tell somebody that, it's like a default that comes over. It's like they're not listening, you know what I'm saying? They're not paying attention. And you know, where I'm getting my information is like from actual sources. But it feels like we wait until it affects us negatively and it's too late to try to learn about it. But previously, this nigga woke. You know what I'm saying? And I always hated that because I get what they're saying. Because on EAA, we dealt with that. I remember when I was assistant PD and I was doing the X Factor on Saturdays. following a woke show. Now that show was woke because one day I was listening and they was like, if you eat a Vaseline, it'll kill the cancer. And I was like, I gotta follow these things. I went Monday morning. I went to Sandy. I was like, hey, they can't say that on the radio. Like that's for the corner, for you to debate shit. And that's what I mean. Like I get it in situations where it's like, oh, he woke, but to JR's point on social media, it kind of becomes law, and it's like, nah, there are nuances with it. Like that Hotep nigga, whatever his name is, with the beard and shit, Umar, yeah, like whatever with that. Yeah. But I get why you may feel a little skeptical about certain things he says and say, fuck that woke shit, but at least be able to identify what's actually knowledge and what's BS. And that's kind of how I feel with brand. Like a brand is a brand for real. A brand has value when you do something with it, not because you say you have it when you really don't, nigga. You got a profile page, like okay, your brand, like my brand. I was just sitting there like, I think I'm getting old because fuck this little nigga. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
But it's funny, Veg, you talk about brands, because I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, that always remind me of RG3, where these athletes are more concerned about their brand than actually performing on the field. Like RG3, it was always about the brand. Like, no, nigga, you play great, and then you become a brand, where these young boys are like, oh, no, I come in with a brand. I'm RG3, I am the brand. And it's like, yeah, but now you out of here, like KRS said. Like, you know, because you don't, the focus isn't being great and then the brand will come. It's like, how do I get all the shit Jordan had without having to do all the shit Jordan did? So I want Gatorade, I want Wheaties, I want Nike, I want all that shit Jordan had, but I'm not as nice as Jordan, and I don't even feel like proving how nice I am. Just give me the brand first, and then I'll go do all that other stuff. And, you know, it's like the shortcut. Like, I just give me the, you know, same stuff with this weight loss with all these drugs. Like, I seen Serena Williams. I'm like, yo, nigga, are you a pound? Like, what happened? Like, Vanessa Williams looks like a skeleton. Like, but it's like, oh, no, don't nobody feel like working out. So let me just take this shot. And, you know, I don't feel like growing grass. Let me just get some sides. You know, so we're living in a society that we don't want to put in the work in order to get what the payoff is. We just want the payoff by doing the most minimalistic amount. And it's like, God doesn't work like that, and the world don't work like that, because prayerfully not. But I'm just saying, a lot of these shit that these people are popping to lose weight, we don't know what that shit gonna do to you in 20 years. All these people taking drugs for diabetes, and you ain't got diabetes, nigga. You may fuck around and get diabetes times 3 because you've been like, we don't know. But it's like, you know, my mentor used to always tell me, Kelly, you don't need no gym. Niggas in jail you want to lose weight, you want to get in shape? Niggas in jail are in shape, okay? Ain't no fucking fitness class in jail. There ain't no 8 a.m. fucking, you know, Raheem doing a fitness walk. Like, nigga, just, you know, do what you gotta do, you know? So it's like the shortcut of what nobody wants to put in. Like, babe, we talked about, like, you wouldn't just get in a cypher, spit a rhyme, and then be like, oh, I'm an MC. Like, but now, you kick 2 or 3 rhymes at somebody, like, yo, you an MC. Like, nah, nigga, that took years for you to be able to have that title. It's almost like I call them shits. What's them shits like with celebrities? Be like, oh, you're a such and such alumni. Like, you ain't go to Howard, but we really fuck with you, so we want to give you a degree and say you went to Howard. Or you know, or you a PhD, we gonna give you a doctoral, like, just because you Steve Harvey and you host Family Feud. Like, damn, I get a doctoral degree because I host Family Feud? Fuck it, I know. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like, niggas just want the money, they want everything, but they don't want to put in the work, which is why we're where we're at. So, what you got up next, bro?
Man, what you said was a perfect segue to my number 2 is I had, you know, lack of artist development. You know what I'm saying? And
damn it, that was
it's not hard work anymore, because record companies back in the day, and JR appreciate this, way back in the Motown days, you had to go to Chitlin Circuit. You know what I'm saying? You had to they took Temptations and everybody. We're gonna go down to Louisiana, Texas, every damn where. You're gonna perform in a cafe in front of 18 people until you learn, you know what I'm saying, how to do it the right way before you can put you in front of 500 people or whatever the case may be. We're gonna have you in like boot camp. Y'all gonna be singing. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go to this room and do some vocals, that room and do some vocals. You know what I'm saying? And even Puff kind of was doing that even with Bad Boy in the 90s. That's how the Locks and all them know how to perform. Them cats had to know how to perform on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different acts, you know, within Bad Boy and going on these big reunion tours and all that. Well, those artist development, I mean, yeah, Puff might be a piece of shit, whatever. We just talking about him as an executive. He knew what it took for his artists to be able to stand on stage and perform. And nowadays, you got social media. You could pop up with a song or something like that. Don't even use a record label. Don't even have like a talent manager or no kind of manager. And then you get on stage, you're like, these cats can't even perform. You know, so you see a lot of people now in every genre of music can't even really perform anymore. You know what I'm saying? They up there, no energy, they stiff, they don't know how to control the crowd, MC, move the crowd, none of this shit, because they never developed as an artist, but they had a big hit or a big album or something that started, I don't know, trending or viral, but they're not real artists. That's why a lot of them 20 years from now, they're not going to be doing these legacy tours and stuff like that because they have no legacy because they never grew as an artist. So now you let everybody become an artist per se, you know what I'm saying? And it's just not working out in the long term, man. It's just a lot of laziness now. And, you know, now you don't have to go through record companies. Like back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, you didn't pop if you wasn't signed somewhere. You don't have to be signed somewhere now. You can be independent and you can suck.
And there was a lot of artists back in the 90s that couldn't even get their deal until R&B wise, couldn't even get their deal until they finished artist development. Then you got your deal.
And JR, you know this too. A lot of our greats at some point, from the Panda Bells, Teddy Pendergrass, a lot of these guys and ladies were backup singers at some point. They weren't even
they were
in the group. And they had to work their way, something happened, whatever, and then it became what it became. But they didn't just jump out there, you know what I'm saying, by themselves. Shaka Khan, all these people, you know what I mean? A lot of them was part of groups, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, I don't even want to get where the group's at, but that's another whole thing.
That's another thing. It was just like with Barry, he was just saying, that's why with Maxine, I talk about her a lot. Maxine Powell, that was, you know, the artist development at Motown. It was like, you know, Barry wanted to cross over. That was just the main thing for him. So he was like, if we got to cross over, we got to turn these raw artists into this. So he made them go to finishing school. They couldn't. These women can't cross their legs on TV. Like, you had to go through schooling until, and he didn't even care if your record was big yet. If it was huge, he was like, all right, well, they got to finish the schooling first. Then they go out. Because you got now, these kids don't even know how to do interviews. They don't know how to answer questions. They don't know how to do any of that. And you watch this and you be like, and it's train wreck. Yes, it's a train wreck. And then you got the interviewers that ain't as great either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got them asking these questions. It's like this is just a mess. Then you got them saying that I got anxiety and all this. It's like, what? Like, when Summer Walker went and got her award, it was like, girl, you shaking? What's wrong with you? Like, and like, a lot of them don't even do meet and greets because they like, oh, I have artists, I have, you know, anxiety. I'm like, but you want to be an artist? Like, what is this? Like, this is why artist development is needed. So that was definitely on my list.
What you got, Veg?
I was just gonna just kind of double down on what was said. I remember like a while ago, like this is a long time ago, at the Caribbean Jazz Fest, we were covering it, and like Roy Ayers was there, and man, what's his name? I don't know why I'm forgetting. Natural Man. You know JR. What's his name again? Yeah, he passed away. No, older artist. Natural Man though, the record.
Oh, you're talking about
Lou Rawls. Right. So they were there, and we were trying to get interviews with them for the station. And I remember Lou Rawls just started like going off script. Like, you know, he was at that age where he didn't even care anymore. And he was saying this, what Tone was saying. He was like, you know, these artists today, they're not developing them in a way where they know how to have a presence on stage. They know how to hold the mic. They know how to give everybody in the audience eye contact to pull them into the performance. And you see it with great artists, but you don't realize, like, yeah, I guess so. When you see an artist singing down there and then look up there, you know what I'm saying? They're making sure they meet everybody's eyes as they're performing to draw them in. And like you said, now you put them out there, and you know, and you've seen it even with like these guys who are like comedians who do skits, and some of them try to do stand-up. Like, nah, stand-up is a different kind of art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't in your crib like, oh, go get my mother dressed and go get this and blah blah blah. Like, you in front of a crowd. So I agree, man. It's unfortunate, but I think the reason why it kind of became a trend is because these kids who are fans didn't care. They was just like, oh, that's the hot song and that's the person and that's all I need to be satisfied. So
it's crazy too, because that kind of leads into my next one, which is it's okay to not have talent anymore. And I just put the Kardashians, because the Kardashians are like billionaires, and what the fuck do any of them do? What's their talent? And that's not even that talented. I saw the tape. Kim is not that talented.
That ain't even talented either. Nope.
Yeah, it's really wasn't no talent in that arena either. So that ain't it. But I mean, it's like, Tone, like you said, like, to go through all these things, you got to have talent to go through how to perform and all those things. And I was just seeing this thing on IG, and it was saying Generation Z students are struggling to read single sentences, and it could harm their futures, professors warn. These are college students who are struggling to read single sentences. New York teacher discovers teens can't read clocks after school cell phone ban. You know what I mean? So we're expecting a lot from people who probably can't give us that much. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about adverbs and adjectives, please don't ask one of my kids the difference between an adverb and an adjective. Please don't do that. Don't. You know, noun, verb, please, come on, y'all. We doing SAT questions now. Let's bring it back. So again, and it's not just my kids, it's kids anywhere, because once No Child Left Behind, if people think I can talk about hip hop, I can talk about children and No Child Left Behind and that just as much. I just don't do that on Twitter. But No Child Left Behind was really just about teaching to the test. It was like, look, USA has horrible test scores, other countries popping shit. Bush was like, nah, fuck that. We got to flex on these niggas with our schools. Boom, teach to the test. We need great test scores. So now we're not teaching our kids, and we haven't done this since I've been in this game, since 2000. We haven't been teaching kids how to be able to do things. We're just teaching kids how to pass the test. You know what I mean? And when you do that, you're not learning things that are going to hold you down for the long run. You're just almost memorizing something so that you can pass this test. So when you look at things like that, I can't expect you, if you can't read a sentence and you are in college, there's something wrong with that too. Because what test did you pass to get into college? But now we gotta look at the bigger picture of colleges. More people are now becoming influencers, so less people going to college. So colleges gotta let more people in who we probably wouldn't let in. There's a lot of people at Morgan State right now, Veg, that would have not gotten into Morgan State if it was 1994. You know, the criteria is vastly different. I know kids who've gotten into Morgan, and I'm like, nah, nigga. I know. Y'all just let anybody in now. If you let this one in, fuck it. You just said fuck it. We letting anybody in. You know what I mean? So, you know, these people don't have talent anymore, man. You know, nobody, all these R&B singers, where you learn singing? In the church. Don't nobody go to church no more. You know what I mean? Nobody making their kids sing in the choir no more. Nobody sending their kids to Sunday school no more. So the place where you would learn the craft is no longer there. You know, and then I'm just thinking about basketball, because even if you're in the hood and you're playing basketball, you got to be in the park every day to get better. The only reason why people are going to pick you on their team is if you're nice. You know what I mean? So there still is a criteria there. I can't just be some kid who can't play basketball and walk up in the park and I get scooped up. After niggas see I can't play, nigga, we ain't never picking that nigga again. Like, go sit over there. It should be like that with hip hop and R&B. Like, nigga, you can't rap. Get the fuck out this cypher. Don't nobody pick him no more. Him right there, nah, you done, son. Go to another playground. Like, dude, we ain't picking you. and it's kind of like, at least in basketball, you still have to have the talent, or in sports, you have to know how to swim to make the swim team. Like, whereas nowadays, you don't have to know how to rap or write rhymes or sing hooks or do any of that shit to get a record deal or to have a #1 charting album. You know what I mean? So that's the crazy part with that. Now, Tron, what you got up next, bro?
Just to speak on your points, no critical thinking anymore. And that segues into my next one, which is just MCs just doing 2 verses. MCs just doing 2 verses. There's no hook. There's no chorus. And that's for R&B as well. And I'm sure JR has that on his list, but just doing like sometimes I look at new music that's coming out on Fridays, and I'm looking at it, and the whole album is like maybe 10 songs, 26 minutes, and it's like 2 minutes a song. It's like, I love rock, you know that. I love, Griselda and Fleet Lord and some of them people, but you rhyme for like 1 verse, then you might say some slick shit in the background, and then the rest of the song is music. Yep. So, like, to your point with nobody knows how to read, nobody wants to really have critical thinking, nobody wants to be creative anymore. They just don't want to work. There's songs from the 80s and the 90s where, Rakim spitting 3 verses, Cool G spitting 3 verses, then you get to Nas, he's spitting 3 verses, Cass, Tribe, so forth and so on. But now, I don't know when it started, where each rap song was like 2 minutes and then we out. I don't know if that was the 2010s, but that's something I don't like that crept in. Like, give me the intro, the body, and the conclusion. Give me a whole story of what you're talking about. So,
but you know what now, Tron? What you just said, give me an intro, a body, and a conclusion. That would lead you to believe that somebody went to school and a teacher taught this kid how to write an introduction paragraph, write the body of the story, and then write a conclusion. Because I've always done, for people watching, man, I know I did maybe 2-3 years ago, I did a whole 3rd verse challenge. And I was like, yo, all MCs, here's a beat. I want 3 verses on this beat. You know what I mean? I said, you can freak it however you want. It's 16 bars per verse. Per verse, if you just want to do 1 long 48. At the end of the day, nigga, you better have 48 bars. I don't care how you put it together, but have 48 bars. And there's one boy who was going to music school at Berkeley, was like, yo, I'm taking an MC or hip hop writing class here at Berkeley. And he was like, yo, this is the hardest assignment I've ever had, Kill, trying to write 3 verses. You know what I mean? Because it was almost like, how do I do this? And I'm like talking to him just like a teacher would teach you. Like, okay, what are we talking about? Okay. Or I do this with my kids. A group of my kids was like, they don't like the hood. Another group of my kids like the hood. So I said, all right, y'all gonna do the first verse who like the hood. You're gonna talk about everything you like about y'all part of DC. Second verse is gonna be all the people who don't like the hood. And the third verse is gonna be, in conclusion, what we could do to make it a better place. You know what I mean? So it's like, they needed somebody to teach them that, because it was like, well, how we all gonna be on the same song if we don't like the same stuff? There's nobody to teach anybody no more. You know what I mean? Like, there is no things like, Veg, I don't know about you. Like, I'm interested to know, like, okay, boom, you start rapping. And then normally it's when you get to the studio. I know it was 8th grade for me. I went to my man, shout out to my man Hollis, Marv, cool DJ Frank out in West Philly. And we just had all these rhymes. And Hollis, the engineer at the studio, taught us, no, you can't just say everything at once. You got to do, this is how you count bars. This is where the chorus comes in. Somebody had to teach most of us that, because I don't know if anybody who just started rapping just knew off rip, oh, this is how you count bars. Oh, okay, 16 bars is a verse. I know niggas my age that don't know how many bars are in a verse. You know what I mean? So how did you learn that, Veg? How to count bars and how to structure a song?
I don't know. I think I just kind of followed the music I like, and was trying to, like, the first time I started writing, I feel like I was trying to meet the time limit in a verse as opposed to the bars. But I wrote poetry before I wrote raps, so I already knew about bars and stanzas. You know what I'm saying? So I just looked at it like, oh, well, for a song, okay, a rap song, I just counted. I was like, okay, well, that's 16 or whatever. And I just followed that. And then it kind of became a thing. Not as far as like a thing in the industry, but as far as like fans having knowledge of it. To just say like 16 bars and, you know, that's only 32 or whatever. But that's kind of how it started for me. I was just going to say, I think that's the issue. You know, these kids aren't being taught how to count bars. But just as a little pushback, and maybe not even pushback, but when me and Kill did the project Keep Calm, the one without the features, I was more in my poetry bag with the rapping. So I got songs with 4 verses and I got songs with 2 verses, like Video Music Box. And the only reason why I was comfortable doing a 2 verse or even a 1 verse is because I like when Redman would do that as almost like an interlude. You know what I'm saying? He would have a joint that hit and you like, damn, shit crazy. But it's like 1 verse. And then it would get into the song. So I looked at it as like, oh, these aren't really like songs. They're like segues to keep you going throughout the journey of this album. So if I'm popping in with a song like Video Music Box, it's not meant to be this full drawn out story song with 3 verses and 16 bars. It's more effective at 2 because everybody wants a 3rd verse. But if I gave them a 3rd verse, it might be too much because it's more effective this way. You know what I'm saying? Right. I don't think these guys who are doing that now, they're not doing it for those reasons. They're doing it for algorithms and listening habits. And that's the only reason why they'll give you 2 bars or 1 bar. You know what I'm saying?
Now tell me this too, Vague. Niggas have told me that they do it because of streaming. That I guess if you listen to a song but so much that, I mean, I guess if you listen to a certain amount, then that is looked at as a stream. But if the song is 4 minutes, maybe I guess you gotta listen to it for at least 2 minutes for it to be counted as a stream. And if it's 4 minutes, they may turn it off. But if it's only 2 minutes, then it can be counted as a stream, which is crazy to me because you don't get paid off streams any fucking way. So even if I get 8 million streams, I'm still only getting $80. So
that's crazy.
It's like YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You have to watch for a certain amount of time for it to be counted as a view. So you could have 1 million views, but if 1 million people watch 10 seconds,
right?
Did they really watch it? Did they really view it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
and then the other thing is just pure laziness. I think that's what a lot of MCs do. It's just like, oh, why am I writing 3? If a teacher told me, as lazy as my ass was in school, if a teacher told me, nigga, you could turn in this 10-page paper. You could write a 10-page paper. You could write a 1-page paper. It's up to you. Nigga, I'm writing a 1-page paper. I just am. And I'm a writer. I love writing. You know, I write scripts. You know, I've been working on books for years. So I like writing, but if the teacher tells me I only got to write 1 page or 10 pages, well, nigga, I'm going to write 1. So and that's going to go into my next one when I come back around, which is just accepting. We've just started to accept a lot of nut ass shit that we don't need to. So now I feel you. Now, Tron, that was your joint, right? That we've been talking about. All right, JR, what's your next one?
The next one is Bridges.
I had that too.
Yeah. It's sad.
Now, JR, before we do this, because I've had this conversation with people, and there are people who may be watching who don't know what a bridge is. So can you, the definition of what a bridge is? Like they may know it, but they may not know that it's called a bridge. So give us an example of a song and the bridge and
shit.
You know what? I could give you one even better because I just saw Mary talking about it. Because Mary said she didn't want to do a bridge for Family Affair, and Dre made her. So the bridge is where it's like, we don't need no hater. Well, JR, you know it. I don't know the song because I hate
no hater. We just want to love one another. Yeah, that's the bridge.
That's the bridge. So it's usually the bridge usually comes after the second chorus. So you get the verse, you get the chorus, you get the verse, you get the chorus, then you get the bridge that then goes into the chorus. So it's not a third verse, but you're getting a bridge that's usually half of what the verse would be, and then it goes back into.
And then a lot of times it's also a tempo change in the bridge.
Right.
It's like a step higher, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you know it's coming, like a climax is coming, especially with like an R&B ballad. Like, you know that climax is like, oh, we're hitting the bridge. It's a step higher for real. But it's so crazy because I watched a couple of interviews of, you know, these new producers, because I'll be wanting to know who these new producers are, right? And excluding like D Mile and all them. So I was watching, I forgot what the dude's name was. This was like a couple of years ago when I started hearing these songs that just didn't have bridges. I was like, well, what's going on? And one of the producers was sitting there and he was creating everything. And then, you know, he created the verse, he created the hook. And then, so he was like, yeah, the song is done. So he was like, so the artist he was working with was like, well, what about the bridge? He was like, nah, you don't need no bridge. And then he said, the executives are saying, no, we don't need bridges. Try to get the song under like 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm like, well, that's crazy, because even back in the 60s, it was still a bridge and songs was 2 minutes and like 20 seconds. Yep. So I'm confused. Like, I'm like, what happened here? Because that's really the meat of an R&B record for real. The meat is that bridge. We are waiting to see what are you going to give us that's going to climax. It's going to make this song what it is. Because eventually after the bridge, you're going to bring us back down to come out. You know what I mean? And then for a singer anyway, that's when they really get their chops on. Because when you're coming out of the bridge, you want to see what vocal run they're going to do, what like note they're going to hit, what long note they're going to keep, or something like that. And clearly, like y'all, we have been saying, the creativity, there ain't a lot of talent. And there's no really artists because they don't know how to come out of a bridge. Like, I think we were talking about with Zoe, when Zoe came on the show, we talking about Faith. Faith has some of the best
craziest bridges. I was just about to say, as soon as I get home,
yeah, that bridge.
That's a bridge.
She comes out of it. Like, she comes out of it, and it's just the angelic voice that she has. It's like, that's why we love Faith, because of that. But now you got, when I'm listening to a song, I'll be like, well, where's the bridge? Where's the tempo change? What's going on here? Like, so, yeah, when that started to creep back in, but thank God, like we talked about Fonte and Foreign Exchange and, you know, all of them, they are still doing bridges. They are not doing a song, they ain't got no bridge. So, but that's not what the powers that be want, so you know how that goes. So, yeah.
It's the powers that be, and then it goes back to the talent. You know, so much of what we're saying are all intertwined in somehow, some way, because it really just comes back to, if you don't have, you know, there are people I knew in college who struggle with writing in English classes and humanities. You know, maybe that's not your ministry. I totally get that. But then you need to get a songwriter who does have that ministry to be able to write you something that's incredible. But again, we've also gotten to the place of, we've got to shave as much money off as we can. You know, if you were a rapper in the 80s, you knew you had to have a DJ. That was just part of it. Like, you got to have a DJ. By the time you got to the 90s, you ain't need a DJ no more. Nas ain't have no DJ. Snoop ain't have no DJ. 50 ain't have no DJ. Like, Jay ain't have no DJ. You couldn't do that in the 80s. You know what I mean? So you had to have it. Do you really think Cool G Rap needed Polo? Like, that nigga didn't need Polo. Like, what the fuck? Did Rakim really need Eric B as a DJ? No. Like, you know, so again, it's just times changing. I just think, you know, artists don't know how to write a bridge. And then on top of that, if the label's not making you do a bridge, or the audience isn't saying, hey, give us a bridge, why do it? It's just another, unless you just have super artistic integrity and you just enjoy doing that, you're 9 times out of 10 gonna be like, nah, I'll pass. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't call it. It's like, hell, if you got a butler, Jay, are you really gonna keep cleaning your apartment if you got a maid?
That's true.
Nah, I mean, maybe there's something you take pride in, like, nah, you don't touch my bathroom, I do my bathroom. But for the most part, you got a butler. Do your thing. You got a nanny. Go. You wake up the baby crying. You go get that baby. I'm good. That's what I pay you for. You know what I mean? So it's a couple of people who be like, no, you know, I want, if it's the middle of the night, I want to get the baby. I got the cuddle time. And you got other people that's like, no, nigga, if you take care of the kid, that's your job. So, you know, that's how it's looked at. Vay, what you got up next, bro?
The use of features on albums and the like culture behind it. I feel like when new albums are dropping, people want to see the track list to see who's on the album. And I feel like that's almost like a gift and a curse, because there was one point where artists was just loading up albums with features because that's what people were into. Like, oh, who's on this? Who's on that? Who's on that? But a great example of having, even if you consider it a lot of features, but having features that make sense within the context of what you're creating is like the clips, right? Like, oh, Kendrick's on here, Tyler's on here, you know, Nas is on here. That would get you excited, but then when you hear the records, it's like, Kendrick sound like he belonged on that song. Tyler got busy.
That'll make sense.
You know what I'm saying? You know, just everything they did. Stove God, right? Oh, Stove God just ain't the hook. We know it was a legal thing, but it worked. You know what I'm saying? On the Clips album. So I just feel like even with this J. Cole album, I know there's a generation that was like, I don't see no features. And they could be on there. Maybe they're not listed in the track listing, but it's almost as if they can't look at those titles and be curious like we used to be. Damn, what's this about? You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? And then be surprised when your favorite rappers show up on on the song, and like, oh, I didn't know such and such was on there. So I kind of feel like it just got to a point where there was a part of the hip hop fandom that was looking for features first with an album, and if they didn't see a lot, you know, that meant something negative. And then the flip, the platinum with no features. Relax, we've seen it before.
Right.
Like, relax. It's not.
We've seen it multiple times.
Right. He ain't unearthed no shit that ain't never been in hip hop. It's dope that he did it to remind us and also tell a new generation that it's possible. But at the end of the day, they're taking it to like, nah, Cole platinum and no one was on it. And it's like, all right, well, what we listening for? Like, you know, are you listening to the music, or you are Cole A&R this album? You know what I'm saying? So
right now, and I think Vague Features is great, a dope pick, because too, you also had cast like I think it was Game's Jesus Piece, like where every song had a feature. And it started to get to a point of, is this even your album anymore? If you're only doing one verse for 14 songs, is it even your album? You know, and then I also understand too, the radio and trying to sell records, it became that place, because when for a long time when it was just New York and LA, you didn't have all these features. But then because you look at Jesus Piece, it's almost like on a map. Like, I got 2 Houston artists, I got 2 Atlanta artists, you got to make sure you got stuff for every region. So, okay, I'm going to make sure I got this playing in LA, it's playing in New York. I got a Premier beat, so the boom bapper's going to like it. I got a Just Blaze beat, so they going to like it. So your features was so feature heavy because it was like, I got to get play in all these different places now. Whereas back in the 90s, it was like, nigga, I'm just making music. And if y'all pick up on it, y'all pick up on it. So yeah, it's definitely the features.
It's kind of like what I think plagues Jadakiss's catalog, because the minute, like, he had a song with OJ the Juice Man, and Jadakiss was the one that kind of sound like he didn't belong, because the beat was like catered to him, to OJ the Juice Man, and it was like, well, yeah, he sound in pocket because this is what he does, but you sound like you like, hey y'all, look who I got, you know, y'all rock with me too. And I think that's why his, like, people look at his, people who are realistic and remember, look at some of his albums and say, damn, if he didn't do this to try to Kill's point, to try to, you know, get that crowd or get that crowd. But we know why they did it. It's the reason why Fabulous don't put out an album, because the nigga rich. He just raps with these niggas. He remains himself and he gets the bag, and that's it. So
yeah. And I love it that he does. I will take a Summertime Shootout or another Soul Tapes, but I always appreciated that part. Like, it's like I'm still give my niggas the shit that they want too. Tell them what you got up next, bro.
I got like the lack of like conscious albums in the mainstream, man. At one point, you know, especially when we was in high school, at one point we could have Public Enemy, X-Clan, Poor Righteous Teachers, you know what I'm saying, like Brand Nubians, Paris, you know, all of these guys at the same time. Like, I just did an episode, like the 12 albums that represent Black consciousness. This is Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just did that the other day. That made me think about just now, this show tonight. Like, man, we don't really have that. It's not even pushed anymore by labels or radio stations, anything. You know what I'm saying? Like when the last time you had a big one, like winning an award, so just really To Pimp a Butterfly, maybe. You know what I'm saying? When you got something like All Right, you know what I'm saying? Like an anthem, We're Gonna Be All Right. You know what I mean? Like, that was a conscious album. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the way through To Pimp a Butterfly. You got King Kunta, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So I wish we had more albums like that, but it's gonna take artists to be that brave to say, I might not win awards with this. Now, Kendrick got a critically acclaim for it, but I don't even know if he cared when he was writing that album, because it's such a non-traditional hip-hop album. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be good to hear other artists, big artists who like, you know what, I'm gonna put something out with some meaning to it and just see what happens with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it takes the artists to be brave enough to do that. They team, whatever record label, if they own one, to say, look, we're gonna let them rock with this album right here. Let them drop this album and see what happens, because we don't really get that kind of, that kind of balance anymore to have. You know what I'm saying? Like a To Pimp a Butterfly out. We should have one of those every year. You know what I'm saying? Somebody brave enough to be like, let me really say something. Because we got the same old pop champagne in the club stuff. We've had that kind of shit forever. I mean, of course, we've had the Common, even with the auditorium and stuff like that. So you're going to still get that every now and then, but I wish we got it more. I think we're lacking in that right now, too, the balance.
You know, Tone, you made a great point. You said if people are brave enough, I'll even challenge you and double down. Are they smart enough to be able to do that? Yeah. Because that's really what it's about. Like, do you even have, keeping in mind when 88, I'm 14, I'm thinking all these rappers are my age. I think Chuck D may have been like 25 in 88. Like, this nigga already graduated college. Like, this nigga's a grown ass man. And I just thought all rappers were all young. So this is why this nigga has so much knowledge, because this nigga's a college graduate. You know what I mean? So to be able to teach and preach, you got to know the word. You can't be no pastor and don't know the word. So it's hard to be like, yo, MCs come out here and like school the youth and educate, and they don't know the word. They don't know the word. They don't know the history. They don't. I remember listening to It Takes a Nation. I'm having to ask my mom, yo, who's Shirley Chisholm? Who's this person? Who's that person? Like, who's Chuck talking about? The average, so again, it's like, are you brave enough, but are you smart enough? Do you even have enough knowledge to come out here and make an album really that could educate the masses? Because half these people need to be educated themselves. The first thing Ev always tell me whenever I'm working with a young MC, he be like, yo, tell them to read books, get your vocabulary up. And a lot of these young rappers don't want to hear that shit. Man, come on, man, Kill, I don't want to read no book. I got to do all that. Yeah. Niggas don't like reading. Like, we could just put that out there. Like, niggas be mad at me. Niggas be like, yo, Kill, give me some game. I'm like, man, I send books out. I send books. Niggas be like, yo, you sent me the book? Like, yeah, nigga, read it. Like, no, nigga, I actually read. The game is in the book, my nigga. Like Chris Rock joke. You want to hide some shit, put it in a fucking book. That was a joke from 20 years ago. Joke is still prevalent to this day.
You know what's crazy, Kill? I remember watching that is it Time Still Matter, that Nas joint, and Junker was like, it's sometimes they're at the house, in Queensbridge, Nas sitting there reading something. You know what I'm saying? And his dad talked about that as well. Like, he might sit there and read just different kind of random books, and then his dad would give him other books. He would read them joints. You got a kid in the middle of the project just reading books. He ain't even graduate high school, but he still read a lot. That's why he can rhyme around Illmatic. You know what I'm saying? So something like you said, some of them guys that they did the research, they did the knowledge, and then it showed in their lyrics.
Right. I mean, bro, when I tell people to read, I just be like, yo, read the book of Job. Like, you ain't got to read the whole Bible. I'm just sending you the one book. And niggas be like, don't you want to just tell me what happened? Like, nigga, you can't read a chapter in the Bible? Like, so again, I'm not even sending you a whole book. But I know niggas be mad at me because I send a nigga a book in a minute. And niggas be like, yo, what's this for? Like, read, nigga, read. Like, just try it, So again, I don't know if that's, if they're not just brave enough, but smart enough to do that. The last joint I got up is acceptance. And what I meant by that is it's like, we just accept nut ass shit now. Like, no drums. Why are we accepting this? Why have we accepted this for years? Like, who goes to a fucking Knicks game and they ask for a hot dog and they just give you the hot dog, no bun, and we just like, all right, cool. you gonna be like, yo, nigga, where the fucking bun at? Like, I'm not paying for this shit. Where's the bun? You know what I mean? Like, who goes to Five Guys and if you ask for a burger, they just give you 2 patties, you just gonna be like, oh, okay, cool. No, you're gonna be like, my nigga, where's the fucking bun? Like, I'm not paying for this. You know what I mean? Like, and again, we've just accepted that it's like, okay, no drums, no problem. Like, Neutron, like you just said, I had no third verses. How did we just accept this and just be like, but here's the kicker. If you don't want to give me a bun, then the hot dog can't be $8. You got to knock off $2 somewhere, because why am I still paying for the full price of the hot dog if I'm not getting the bun? So, but again, going back to the people who are working there, now if you're selling hot dogs for $8 with a bun, but people are going to pay you $8 for the hot dog without the bun, my nigga, are you really going to still put a bun on it?
No. Give me my money. Give me the
$8. I don't have to buy no buns, so I'm making more money. I don't feel like we would accept that. We'd be like, nah, there's some bullshit. Nah, I'm not. Where's the other hot dog stand in the stadium? Like, where else I gotta go? Whereas we're just accepting things. We've accepted ghostwriting. Hey, Drake didn't write this song. Oh, who cares? Rick Ross was a PCO. No, he wasn't. I lied. I am. Fuck it. Like, we just accept anything. We accept liars. We accept people who don't make beats. We accept people who only write fucking, 8-bar verses and call it a day. Like, we just accept everything. And it's one of those things where it's like, me having a daughter, like, I'm always teaching my daughter and my girls, like, yo, just don't accept this nut ass shit that niggas want to do. You know what I mean? If a nigga don't want to court you, then you got to cut that nigga off and do these things. And it's like, we've just accepted so much stuff that now it's just normal. It's just normal. Nobody's mad about a whole album with no drums. Nobody trips. Niggas be mad at me. Like, nigga, why you still tripping? Like I'm the odd man now who still wants the hot dog with a bun. Like nigga, like we don't. So again, even like to the point of what Tom was talking about being on stage. When do we just accept stage performances when it's 30 niggas on a stage just smoking and drinking and videotaping and you just walking back and forth? When did we accept that? Nigga, get these other fucking 40 niggas off stage and it need to be you and your hype man and let's go. But we've accepted it. I was at a Benny show, and I don't know how it is in y'all cities. It was 17 opening acts. I said right then, I'm done. And I used to get in free at the Howard. And I was like, oh no, I'm done. I'm not standing up for no fucking 17 opening acts. Like, when did that become the norm? But again, we can't do anything until we strike. Like, until we be like, nope, we ain't listening to no more shit. Until it got drums, then niggas will start bringing back drums. Oh, no, we not listening to no more hip hop with only one verse. We're not doing anything as the fans to be able to say, we not doing that shit no more. We not, so that's my thing about acceptance. Neutron, what you got up for your last joint?
My last one is going to be a R&B. Now today's producers is like one dude. The artists are like D-Mile. They have many artists, and Foreign Exchange is probably the only one, but I miss the days where it was a team of people, like off the wall. You got a horn arranger, you got a string arranger, you have the songwriter, you have the producer, you have the mixer. When did we get away? Like you said, we accepted it. I mean, the 90s still had it going on with, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, the Touch His Ass crew had a team. But like right now, it's just like one producer, one person, and that's all you're going to get. I mean, it might be a nice beat. It's a dope song, but just the team effort, because Quincy worked with everybody. I mean, so. You
know what I think did that in? Money.
Oh, yeah. Split. I
don't want to pay all these people. You know what I mean? My mom is a jazz musician. My uncle's a bass player, so I grew up around bands and musicians. And I'll never forget, 83, 84, my uncle got a Korg drum machine. And it was like, oh, I don't really need my drummer no more to come to rehearsal because I could just program the drums in this. And then eventually, I don't need him to come to rehearsal. Eventually, that grows to I don't need a drummer no more. You know what I mean? And then it gets to a point of samplers. Oh, I sample this. Oh, I don't need a string section no more. So now I start saving money. You want to know what killed the DJ? That was the DAT machine. I don't need a DJ no more because I got the DAT machine. I can just I can cut that cost and keep that more money in my pocket. So I just feel like there's always, how can we cut these costs? Because you get this amazing music, but you have to pay a price for the amazing music that comes. And again, does this generation really need a string arrangement? You know, are they really gonna, you know, I'm sure in the 70s and 80s, like, we appreciated the horns and funkin' for Jamaica. We appreciated these bass lines and all that. Does this new generation even appreciate it to even pay for it? You know what I mean, Vague?
And with technology, streaming, wireless headphones, when you're not plugged in to the device or using a DAC, sometimes you can't even hear it. Like, you can't hear what that person did with the strings. You know there's strings in there, but you can't really hear it. That's why you get, like, on Apple Music, you'll get like special editions of albums that it's not just remastered, but they did a lot to tailor it to the medium now, so you can hear more about the music, like how they have the classical app on Apple. And that's how I listen to like RZA's classical album. And it really is not a classical. It's like RZA scoring. It's kind of dope, but it's not classical music at all. But I've listened to some really good headphones, and I was like, yeah, to your point, Kill, it's a different kind of savings. It's like, we ain't doing all that shit because the kids can't hear it anyway. But those that want to hear everything, how everything comes together, you know, here's a way to do it. But one guy, and Kill say this all the time, and I think it's just me and you, Kill. We got the same birthday. But Compton,
it's just us.
Compton and Missionary, we can hear
Sound
all that.
Incredible.
You can hear all that shit. I don't know what Dre is doing that no one else is willing to do. You don't need to plug
or knows how to do. That could be the other thing too.
Right. But that plays a role too. It's just like how people consume music now.
Yeah.
Where you can't hear all of it, you know. So.
Are you talking about spatial audio?
Yeah, like, well, spatial audio is like 3D audio. Okay. So it's around you. But I mean mastering in a way where everything can be at the same level, nothing gets drowned out, right? Like, you hear the drummer clearly, you hear the piano player clearly. Like that's real, like Hill said, you have to have somebody who has the skill to make that happen without drowning out any other of the players on the record. So.
Yeah, it's more so like lossless audio. Like, the thing is like, I used to have the AirPod Max, and then like sometime around Christmas, I got on some real bougie shit. Like, yo, I really want to hear everything. So I went out and copped these joints these are incredible. Bauer and Wilkins PS8 X80 S2s. Shit cost $1 million. But bro, when I tell you, I hear shit on these that I've never heard in a song that I've heard my whole life. You hear things just on another level. And that's wirelessly. If you plug these in, it takes the level up even another level. You know what I mean? But again, it's like the average consumer, because I think they used to say that, like, they'd be like, oh, it's mastered for Apple Music or mastered for iTunes. So if the majority of people listen to music with AirPods on and that's it, again, why are we paying all this money to fly in the string section and the horn section and all that if people are just listening on laptop speakers? And we know you got a MacBook Pro 8 billion, the speakers ain't gonna be but so incredible. You know what I mean? Like, and if you're just listening in the AirPods, so if the app, or you're listening in a Sonos, so you're listening to in a one of these, what is this? The Beats pill, or your wireless. The average person isn't investing money into their listening process to be able to do all those things. You know what I mean? So I agree with you. I miss it, but it's almost just like, how can we cut? I think EPMD was just talking about, hey, why Scratch ain't on tour with you? Because Scratch won X amount of dollars. And we don't want to split that shit. If y'all come to see EPMD, here's the thing. Love Scratch to death. I don't need to see Scratch. If I hear EPMD is going to be at the Howard Theater with no Scratch, with or without Scratch, I'm going. You know, and I'm not going to be in the show like, damn, I wish Scratch would come out and do a routine. I don't need a routine. I want to hear strictly business. I want to hear what you're saying. I want to hear crossover. So again, it's like, this is why it's like, oh, we don't need scratch, because that's another mouth to feed. That's another ticket to pay for. It's another hotel room. He gonna have an entourage. We could save 30, 40 grand off this tour off rip if we don't take scratch. So it's like, it just all comes down to a cost money savings. So like you said, a mixture of, I miss it, but like Vague said, most people won't even hear it. And again, these headphones, I swear by them, because like I said, I'm hearing things that I'm like, yo, I never heard this before in a song I've listened to hundreds of times before. Like, and I don't even really listen to a lot of hip hop in that. I go back to listen to all that 80s R&B that I love. And it's like, damn, I ain't even hear that, because most hip hop, it's a sample. So it's not too much shit that's going to come in or come out or move around. I listen to a lot of R&B, a lot of rock, a lot of jazz in those headphones, because that's when you get to hear, oh shit, I didn't know there was strings. I didn't know the string arrangement was so long or whatever, but headphones make a difference. People watching, they make a difference. There's some money grabs, then there's some that really make a difference. And these Bower and Wilkins joints make a difference. JR, what's your last joint?
I always say this, and I've said this on so many shows as far as the R&B world anyway, when creeped in when they didn't let any more groups.
Yeah, that's what I got to.
Now, here's the thing. Was it that they didn't let any more groups in, or did groups just get hip to, okay, it's the five of us and Vegas the lead singer. We already know this nigga going solo, so why even bother?
That could be the case, but if you think about R&B for real, from starting from the 50s to when, like 2000, when it stopped,
right?
The reason why R&B was really succeeding was because of the groups being the foundation of it all. So it was like, yeah, we had so many groups, so our solo artists can shine. You know what I mean? So it was just like, now it's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this group, and like you said, this person gonna go solo, and we don't give a damn about anything else. And that's why I think our foundation is a little bit messed up, because we don't have nothing. We don't have no grounding for real. Because these solo artists can't do it on their own. You know what I mean? So it's just like, for me, I'm just like, we need that for real, and including bands. I knew when it got to the 90s and we only had two bands, which was Big Condition and Tony. That was it. I said, uh-oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the beginning and the end.
Yes, even in the 80s, we still had them in. We still had our bands. But once the 90s came and the band started, then we got to the 2000s, and it was like groups started to go extinct. It was like, uh-oh.
But again, it's the technology. Like, do I need a real sax player, or can I just have motherfucking Teddy Riley play the sax on the keyboard? Like, you know, just dead ass. Like,
that just takes away from it, though.
I mean, it takes away from it, but again, if we trying to save money, and here's the thing, I don't know if y'all ever watch these on YouTube, it'll be like 16 things you ain't know about this movie. They was talking about New Jack City. I had no idea that the car, you know, the beginning scene where Ice-T chasing Pookie on the bike, that was supposed to be a car chase. But they ran out of money and they went over budget. So they was like, nigga, we gonna have to make this a bike chase. And that's how that it was supposed to be. So we got to stay within budget. So it's kind of like, okay, to stay within budget. But like I said, bro, most people don't want to get married because like, well, everybody getting divorced. So what's the point? So if we look back and we look at the history of all the bands, from Diana and the Supremes to Lionel and the Commodores to Michael and the Jackson 5, what do they all got in common? Them shit stopped and the lead singer kept going. Okay. Yep. So, and that's the 70s, that's the 80s, where, you know, everybody is going solo. Beyonce. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like, why bother? And then again, we still got to cut the checks. We got to cut this 5 different ways. You know what I mean? And then again, I felt what Ralph was talking about in New Edition movie. Like, yo, I be in the studio all night. Y'all niggas be in the hotel with girls. Y'all be at the mall. Nigga, I'm doing all the work. Fuck, I gotta cut the check with y'all and split it 5 different ways if I'm the only nigga in here working.
Yeah.
So, I mean, That's true too. So like, yo, if y'all want to split this 5 ways, y'all better be in the studio with. But then I understand Ronnie, Ricky, and the rest of them niggas like, well, nigga, we don't get a chance to sing. So what we gotta do? Just sit in the studio and cheer your ass on? Like, so I see both sides of it. Like, we just gotta sit here and let Vegas sing, and we all like playing spades and shit. And this is how we get our cut, just being in the studio. So again, after a while, you just look up and it's like, what's the point? Because shit, your girls, the Shindellas just broke the fuck up.
Please.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
So yeah, so it's like throughout the history of life, like what group is still together? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mint ain't together, Tony ain't together, God bless the dead with the Wayne. None of these groups from the beginning to the end. And again, it started with the Supremes, then it morphs to Diana featuring the Supremes, then it morphs to just Diana. You know, and it's like, why keep going? Why play this game? We already know where this ends, JR. Vegas is leaving. You might as well start putting money to the side right now. Like, hey, Vegas, I could almost foresee groups being like, look, this shit is like the NBA. Like, look, y'all, I'm gonna give y'all 3 albums, okay? So save y'all money, okay? I'm going solo. You know how a free agent will be like, you might as well trade me now and get something back. Because if you wait what's up?
It's also messed up when that lead singer should have stayed in the group because he really not made to be solo. I think we talked about it before, JR. Like when you watch that Silk song and Lil G, look, Lil G, you good with the group, my nigga. You not a solo artist. You ain't got the swag, dog. You ain't got the look. You ain't got it. What your boy say? High-fidelity, you ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? And you should stay in the group. So a lot of good groups got messed up because the dude left wasn't really a solo artist, man.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's constant. It's the people in your ear. It's your girl. Like, yo, Veg, why you need these 5B niggas? Kill don't do shit. Neltron don't do shit. JR don't do shit. Tone don't. Babe, why we splitting the money with them? And now your girl in your ear, and your boys get in your ear. Like, niggas,
that's what happened to Lil G.
Yeah, it happened to everybody. Ralph, everybody is like, yo, people.
And it be your management that get in your ear that you thinking they for the group, and it's like you're not. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Manager too.
Or think about how many times you've heard, because I want to say D'Angelo was in a group, and when they heard his demo, they was like, yeah, whatever with them. What about him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Slum Village. Dilla gave Tip the Slum demo. Like, yo, sign us. And it was like, oh no, what about, we just want you. Like, what was this producer? Who's doing these beats? And then Dilla got on and he brought Slum on. But, you know, so there are just times when people see something in you and it ain't in everybody else in your crew. You know what I mean? I didn't know that the Braxtons were a group before Tony went solo, but I saw some old video of them all in the group. Tony and Babyface may have been like, yeah, y'all, Tamar, you move, and Trina, you move, all the other T's, Tony, I want you. You know what I mean? And then that's what happened. So again, it's like, damn, we a group and we sisters, nigga, and you still left us. So, you know, why get on it? If you, Kel Smith said this once, but he said something in one of his joints. He was like, yo, if you see everybody, if you in line to get on a roller coaster and you see everybody getting off, throwing up, sick, disoriented, would you still get on that ride? Probably not. Same thing with marriage. If you see everybody around you getting divorced, would you still get on that ride and everybody's complaining? Probably not. So it's the same thing. Why would I get in this group, put in my heart and soul? Nigga, I saw what y'all did to them other 2 chicks in Destiny's Child, Latoya and Lativa, or whatever their names was. Then I seen what y'all did to Michelle. You know what I mean? So why am I gonna walk down the same path? I know what happens when you walk down this alley. You get jumped and you get robbed. So let's just forget it. Let's just say we did and don't do it and just call it a day. So I think that's another part of the groups too. So, and then even with the last rap group, Little Brother, it was like, oh no, they ain't gonna break up. Then they broke up. So it's like, no matter where you go, it's the same thing. Somebody gonna be like, Ninth make all the beats and you giving away the Little Brother sound. Y'all already know how I feel about that. I don't know if it was the Little Brother sound, but neither here nor there. You always gonna have this shit coming up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if y'all saw that Pete was on Joe and Jada and he was like, CL was jealous of me. And now CL don't respond.
I saw that, bro.
Now CL don't respond.
I saw it.
What'd he say?
He was just like, jelly. Ain't nobody jelly. Like, nigga, I do this, I do that. I do short shows, I do tours. I'm working with my management. He's like, but I'm about to get out a t-shirt line, like something nobody jelly or something like that. You know what I mean? So, but again, I've heard from niggas in the burner it was jealousy, and I mean jealousy. It's like being happy. When people tell me, oh, I'm not a jealous person, nigga, we're all jealous. It's just on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you jealous to the point where you're like, yo, fuck that nigga Vegas, I'm sick of him always having fly shit? Or are you like, damn, Vegas be living? Yo, Vegas, how do you do it, man? Like, how do you do what you do? Like, you know what I mean? So jealousy is normal, but, and again, if Pete is doing all these remixes and CL got a Benz and Pete got a new house, a motorcycle, 2 Lexuses, you know, a summer house over here in Jamaica, you are going to be like, wait a second. And your boys are going to be like, yo, ain't y'all in the same group? How does nigga Pete got 2 houses and you still living at home? Like, and even if Pete is handling his business, like we always said when Google was like, yo, Primo can go out and produce for anybody. I got to get permission from my label to go be on somebody else's shit. So I could get turned down. Primo doesn't. So again, it's kind of hard for me and Vegas to be in the same group and be equal, but I have opportunities that he doesn't have. You know what I mean? So I can see jealousy creeping in there. So, you know, but I'm with you, JR. I just think a lot of people now is like, what's the point of even having a group? Like, you know, because I rap better than you. So I need to get paid. Dog, I've had some crazy conversations about money and money ain't even on the table yet. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I've seen groups be like, Neltron, you rap, I rap better than you, so we gonna split this 70-30.
Wow.
Dead ass. So from the door, we don't even got a deal yet, which is good. I do believe people should work out money before, you know, things get serious. But yeah, like 70-30. Like, because I rap better than you. We ain't gonna just do a 50-50 split. Or I've had MCs tell me, like, yo, we just gonna split 50-50, whatever we sell it for, we just split it. Kill, I'd rather do like a 60-40, 70-30 split. Nigga, they my beats. The fuck are you talking about? You rapping, right. I'm making the beats. Why is it not 50-50? Well, I mean, because, you know, I have to go in the studio. Well, bitch, I was in the studio all night making the beat. Like so again, it gets weird, y'all. I'm telling y'all, when money comes into play, it gets very, very weird to what people believe they deserve and what they feel like they don't deserve. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Veg, what you got for your last one, bro?
All right, last one I have, like rappers going to social media complaining about success or lack thereof of their latest project, right?
That's a good one.
And And really, in Tone, you've seen this. It also happens in boxing, right? Like, just quick analogy, but related to boxing. You'll get a boxer who, you know, he's nice. You know what I'm saying? You like him as a boxer. He has a opponent that you know he's going to beat, right? He beats them, whether it's impressive or not. And then he starts beefing with the matchup you want to see. And you like, oh, that's next? Okay, cool. And then they go on social media and they just talking crazy. And then he announces next fight, and it's not with that. It's with another
worst ever.
And you're just like, well, wait a minute. What are we doing?
Right.
And I kind of feel like that, and I'm just going to use Griselda because they're the blueprint. And they're not the only ones, but I feel like more so, like, not as much as Westside Gunn, because I think he exudes a certain confidence sometimes, so he doesn't complain that it didn't do well. He'll be consistent. Like, I make the best art ever, so he don't care. But Conway and Benny, Conway will complain about podcasters and nerds and all that shit, and then Benny will go right at his fans and then turn around and say, yo, you got a hot 16, send me your best verse and blah blah blah. And now niggas paying to get the same verse because we know he ain't writing 50 of them, right? To get each nigga that got the bread. And I hate it because I'm their biggest fans, and that type of corny shit didn't happen before. And then also, I'm from the city, so there must be some Buffalo shit. I know y'all cry a lot about not being accepted, but this is shit we talking about. This is what we talking about. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a fuck if you don't like our shit. The block like our shit. That's all that matters. But I kind of hate it because, like, Conway put out a project where, like, to Kill's point, sometimes they all sound the same. But I was like, damn, something about the beats on this one and how he's flowing. He kind of was like really in his bag. He wasn't saying that he was really doing that shit. And then he was fucking like, nah, man, fuck this game. I'm coming off of social media. Well, get the fuck out of here then, nigga. Like, with that crying. You just told me how many niggas you gonna shoot on this album. And now you on here crying. You know what I'm saying? Or selling us NFTs and shit like that. Like, I just don't. That's another thing, but
yeah,
I don't like it for being a fan. Like, can you imagine Rakim drop Paid in Full, and a week later he like, man, y'all nerds, y'all listening to these motherfuckers? Like, nigga, we like it. What the fuck?
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah, bro. And it's like, it's almost just like, I feel like Jay said, sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs. Like, why do people care so much? I mean, I get it. You know, I am a creative. I mean, of course, I don't want anybody to not like my shit. And again, I'm nowhere near what Conway and Benny have achieved or accomplished. But it's just like, I've had people say, I wasn't really feeling that last album. I'm like, all right, what didn't you like about it? Like, like, be inquisitive. Like, not like, well, fuck you then. If you don't like it, don't buy the shit. Then, like, I'm like inquisitive. Like, damn, did something change? Was it the beats? Was it the rapper? Like, what didn't you like? And I know that they can't do that with every person, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. You know what I mean? One of the biggest things that I wish that never happened was that fucking song Tyrone, because that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Niggas take that to fucking heart. And I tell niggas all the time, if you sensitive about your shit, do not send your shit to me. Don't fucking do it. Don't ask for my feedback and then be like, but be sensitive. Nigga, what the fuck? This is not, that sound like a virgin. Like, okay, I'm gonna give it to you, but be clear. Like, no, nigga, if you want to you fucking want me to talk about, you want me to give you feedback, then I'm gonna give you feedback. And I say the same thing with my scripts. I'll be like, yo, tear these shits up. The only thing that I ask is, what didn't you like? You could be like, well, I didn't like that scene. What didn't you like? Oh, it went too long, and I didn't think that what he said to her was believable. Cool, give me that feedback and let me go tweak it. Yeah. So I totally get it. If it's like, yo, I ain't like your script, Kill. What didn't you like? Oh, I ain't just like that shit. Come on, nigga. Like, give me something. Like, you know what I mean? But these sensitive thugs, y'all all need hugs, man. Like, damn, man. Everybody is not gonna love your shit. Everybody is not. But I also understand the flip of it. And the flip of it is, you get on social media every day and you have literally probably 10,000 niggas a day sucking your dick every day. So again, I think I'm a very down-to-earth person, think I'm a real cool guy, but if every day I walked up and turned on Twitter and it's just thousands of thousands, oh my God, Kill's the greatest podcaster, he's the greatest producer, he's the greatest that shit is eventually probably gonna go to my head. And then one day when somebody be like, Kill, you alright, dad. I'm like, what the fuck you mean I'm alright? Nigga, 50,000 niggas just told me I'm the greatest dad ever. So I'm not trying to, like, you know, give them a pass, but I'm also trying to understand that this is the first time in life that you could. Big Daddy Kane had no idea how many niggas love that nigga in Philly, because you just come through Philly, you do a sign at, you know, you go to a couple record stores, sign some autographs, do a show, you off to the next city. These rappers now have people every single day. We love you. We love you. Yep. We love you. One of my favorite Ye lines, it's hard to be humble when you stunting on a Jumbotron. I saw it. I think Kendrick was in another country and he was doing something. The whole fucking stadium knew every word. And I'm talking 60, 70,000 people. I ain't talking SOBs. I'm talking 70,000 people. Vague, you a real cool nigga. I don't know if me and you doing a show and 70,000 Africans know every word to our songs. After about that tour is over, Vegas may be like, yeah, Killer, call my assistant for the next album. You know, call my assistant for the next album. Submit some beats over there and let's see how it goes from there. Like, because that's gotta be crazy that you could just be like, yo, I ain't even gonna rap. Y'all rap the whole song. And the whole stadium knows every word. Like, but my bad, Vegas, what you gonna say?
No, I'll just say this. I would definitely like it and appreciate it. But at the end of the day, the humble part is what keeps me sharp, to me.
Right.
You know it keeps me sharp on everything because I know what could happen. Now, my name is Vegas, so I do embrace some of that shit. But like I'll give a quick example, like a real world example, and not even on some rap shit, but I was at a Christmas party, like a company Christmas party, and one of the board members introduced me to some guy, and she was like, "Oh yeah, this is Steven, he's a genius." And I was like, "Don't tell that man that," like, because I was looking at it like, "Damn, well, hold up, nigga, I invented the keyboard, fucking thing." Like, that's what geniuses do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, I'm just good at my job. You could keep it at that. But to your point, some people hear that like, yeah, nigga, I need
I'm a genius. and it's hearing it every day, every time. Like, that's the thing. It's like not just a one-off, but if you woke up every day and you just open up IG and just everybody's like, Vegas is genius, Vegas is genius, Vegas is genius. Like, after about 7 months of that, like, I don't care how humble we all are, something is gonna get a little. Talk to my agent, I can't take that call right now. You know what I mean?
Or you're going to reject it. Like,
right. Or you're going to, right. Exactly. Right. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that shit. You know what I mean? So what you got for your last one, bro?
Man, the representation of females in hip hop, man, like it's gotten farther and farther away from. I mean, yeah, we, of course, when hardcore Lil' Kim and the Ill-Na-Na and all that kind of came out in '96, it kind of changed the game. And we can also blame, kind of Biggie created Lil' Kim, so he created everything you see now, essentially. A lot of people don't look at it like that, but Nicki Minaj and all, they off the tree of Lil' Kim, and Biggie created Lil' Kim, you know what I'm saying? But, but even still at that time, you still would have Missy Elliott, who's still in hip-hop some, Lauryn Hill and all of that stuff like that. And even on the underground, you will still have your Bahamadia and all that. Now, the representation, we got Che and all them. We got women who can rhyme, but they're not mainstream. So, not even Rhapsody, you know what I'm saying? So, you still got, like, every female artist who is famous in hip-hop is almost like strip club hip-hop. So, that's the representation of females in hip-hop is strip club hip-hop. All the most famous ones are like that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to show by. It's going to be Nicki Minaj. It's going to be... what's your girl, Meg Thee Stallion and Gorilla and all these ones. Even some of them got talent, but the representation is what it is. It's just like dumbed down so bad. You know what I'm saying? And like we ain't got nobody to push almost. Like who we gonna push? Because we need some more representation with females in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? The different vibe. We have no Latifahs and MC Lights or none of them in the culture that's big enough.
Rhapsody is from North Carolina, right?
Oh, no doubt, yeah. And she's won a Grammy. Eve was a great.
I was gonna say she just won a Grammy.
Yeah, so she's done very, very well. But even with just being her, it's like one against 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's not enough because she's not a big enough star.
And I mean, I think too, when you think about a lot of people who are choosing to become MCs right now, when we chose to get into this culture, it was just for the culture. When in 84, when I'm 10 and I'm asking my mom for 2 turntables and a mixer, I'm not like, hey, mom, buy me this because if I do 8 parties a week, I can make this much money and I can pay you back. Most of us weren't thinking about no money when we picked up a pen or we wanted to DJ or we wanted to produce. This generation is looking at hip hop as this is a viable, job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a job or a hustle. When I was growing up, my dad, God bless the dad with E-Love passing away, I never forget, my dad was like, so you want to be this nigga's man holding the radio? I'm like, God damn, nigga, why I gotta be him? Why can't be LL? You know what I mean? But me telling my pop I want to be a rapper in 1985 sounded like, nigga, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be the first nigga on Mars, which that's what it sounded like. Like, yeah, nigga, cut that shit out. Keep going to school, get a college, go get a job. Now, a 10-year-old saying that to somebody's parent, they could be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's go to Sam Ash and get some equipment. Like, that's the thing. So now when people are thinking, I want to be a rapper, it's to make money. And if it's to make money, then I have to emulate what the other women are doing to make this money. So I got to emulate with Glorilla. One of my girls told me once, she was like, Mr. Kill, I want to be a rapper, so I got to be a stripper first. And I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? You got to be a stripper first. She was like, well, like, and that's when it hit me. It's like, well, Cardi B was a stripper before she became a rapper. And it's the same way, like, if you want to go to law school, okay, I got to do high school, I got to do undergrad, then I got to get accepted into law school. in this girl's mind, she thought this was the path you have to take to be a rapper. Like, I have to be a stripper before I could be a rapper. And I'm like, nah, you could just start rapping. Like, and it was like, oh shit, I didn't know. Like it's like somebody saying, oh, you could go to law school without going to undergrad. Oh shit, I didn't know. Like, so that's the problem, that when, like I said, even when you want to be an MC nowadays, it's only, most people, I believe, is coming from a place of, I want to make money. You know what I mean? Whereas in our generation, it was like, oh, I like this music and I want to be a part of it. Like, that's totally different now, 30, 40 years later. Because I don't know anybody who's not like, I want to get some money. You know what I mean? Like that. Veg, I'm sorry, you want to say something?
I was going to say also the path is a little bit different, because when I started writing, I wasn't really thinking about a record deal, because I knew there was way more steps than me like honing my craft to get it, or even being dope. You know, I knew I needed to make a demo tape, but I needed studio time, I needed beats, then I needed somebody who could shop, then we gotta hope somebody will listen to it. And it was just this whole thing that seemed unattainable if you didn't have the resources or just someone you knew. But now, like you said, if you can go get the equipment in your crib and you can distribute it through the internet, which there's a lot of artists like 21 Savage and Glorilla, that's how they blew. They just upload their little video in the hood using an iPhone, because to make it look crisp, having somebody that can edit, and they put it on YouTube, and once they did 1 million views, the industry came to them. So it's sort of like, and I think some of these little niggas want fame more than anything. They don't realize there's a lot of famous broke motherfuckers too. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, but I think that's the thing, because if you take me from 94 when I started, and I could do it now, nigga, I might have 20 albums, because I could do it all, you know, here with Fruity Loops and all that shit.
And Veg, to your point about needing beats, you know how many people come to my studio now? Like, I'm like, yo, you need a beat? They're like, no, I got something off of YouTube. You know what I mean? Because you could just go to YouTube and put in, you know, NBA Youngboy type beat, and 30 beats will come up.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, man, niggas like, my kids be coming out like, yo, y'all need a beat? They're like, we don't need your beat on Mr. Kill, man. We got, you know, and they'll always be like, I'm like, well, where's the beat? They be like, oh, go to YouTube and download it from YouTube. And it's always like whoever they want to sound like, that kind of beat. They'll be like, you know, this designer type of beat. They get it, you know, oh, I could use this for, so now getting beats ain't nothing. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, the process is just vastly different, especially if you weren't from New York, because there would be times me and my boys like, all right, we're going to go stay with your aunt in Brooklyn. We're going to stay for 2 weeks. We're going to try shop this demo. Like, you had to really invest in it. Like, in the investment, like, first again, I always tell people, getting an SP 1200 in 1994 was like $3,500. For the average nigga in college, nigga, I'm trying to get a car with that $3,500, not no goddamn drum machine. Then once you buy the drum machine, then you gotta remember, oh shit, we gotta buy records. Oh shit, I need to buy a turntable. You know, so it's just all these steps you gotta do. And then, like you say, what if you ain't got no aunt in Brooklyn? Now, where you gonna stay in New York? So now you just catching the train back and forth to Philly to New York. And that's just Philly. What about a nigga who from North Carolina, Tone? How you getting back and forth to New York to shop your demo and everything? So again, it's just, the game is different. And Tony, your point about Veg's point about videos, if you're a young lady and you got a badass body and you cute, boom, now I gotta be half naked in this video to get these views. So it's really not about the skills. If I show enough skin and ass, then I can get this deal too. So all these seeds are just being planted for you not to be an artist, because nobody's coming in this game to be artistic. Nobody's coming in this game to push their passion of writing or push their passion of education. Nobody's coming in this game to be like, you know, I want to help the kids. Everybody's coming in from a get money standpoint. You know what I mean? So again, you know, like you said, are artists brave enough? You know, are they smart enough? So, you know, we got to look at all those things. But Tone, where can they get at you, good brother?
Hey, man, just Tony the Dome on Twitter, man. IG, I'm not on IG a lot, mostly on X, Twitter, and the Dome podcast on YouTube, man. Them 2 spots to find me, bro. Holla.
Yeah. Veg, what you got going on, bro?
You can follow me on social media at Vegas World INC. Check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, right here on YouTube. Promoting a series for the year 1996. Is the 30th anniversary of a number of dope albums from that year. Going over several albums with different guests. Started with Tupac and All Eyes on Me, like a double episode with Machiavelli. Shout out to Ak. And by the time you watch this, the episode that's coming up on February 13th will be the Fugees to score. So,
nice
for that.
Yeah.
Dope. Neltron, what you got cooking up, bro?
You can follow me at Neltron on Twitter and IG.
All right, JR, R&B Guru, what you got?
Follow the R&B Reps. When this comes out, the episode with Kill will be out. We talked about Keith Sweat, Make It Last Forever, which was a dope.
Love. We're talking about love.
Yes,
about
we
love.
are. Like, we really got into the crevices and shit of this album. Like, it was so
Great
funny.
album.
A lot of many funny moments. Yes, and you're gonna see how much how deep we love the album for real. So it's dope. So it's out when this come out. But follow us, R&B Reps, Instagram, Twitter. Dreams World of Soul, Naturally Elise on Instagram and Twitter as well. But the R&B Reps, follow us on YouTube because our YouTube numbers keep going up. So respect to everybody sharing and all that good stuff. We appreciate it.
Dope. Y'all already know me, Kill889, Twitter, IG. Check out Kill and the Kids. Not Killing the Kids. Kill and the Kids. It's a documentary. We won an Emmy for it. We just got accepted to another film festival, so prayerfully we can bang out another chip over there. We won a PG County Film Festival, so check that out. It's on pbs.org or YouTube, so run either numbers up. One of my people said I should talk about an album every time, so I'm gonna pull out this album right here, Steady B, Let the Hustlers Play.
Oh, man.
As much as I disagree with what happened with Stead and the whole Cool C situation with the bank robbery, I always tell people growing up, if you were in Queensbridge, the way you would love Nas or MC Shan or Mobb Deep, this is how I felt growing up in the 80s, being from Philly. Like, it was Steady B. Like, Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff was dope, Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff, but this nigga right here, this was the one on this album, the one that everybody will probably know is Serious, the remix, which to me is one of the dopest, top 10 dopest remixes ever. But KRS actually produced 2 on here. It's called The Undertaker and Serious. Then you had the Serious remix. So definitely a dope album. A lot of Philadelphia history right here. So, and that's Tap Money in the background for people who may not know. He went on to be Kwame's DJ. Too. So, and was just with them at the hip hop honors down here at the National Hip Hop Museum in DC. Tat's still spinning, so definitely check that out. And I will check y'all next week, good peoples.
Thanks.